stream ended, but it did. So we're just gonna consider this the stream, and we're gonna delete the last one. So if you ever wanted to see that, too bad. There was only about 2 minutes of it, so you're fine. It's been a night. That's what we were on about. I'm streaming this because we were gonna stream games tonight. I was actually planning on streaming games tonight. I was actually headed there to. I was headed to my house to go stream when shit hit the fan, and shit hit the fan. It did. On a good note, before we start getting into all that, this right here is the pipe that I had just finished when we did the first podcast. It's got everyone's initials on it. I won't say whose, but some initials from some friends of mine that I smoke with. Tobacco pipe, Twitch, tobacco. Okay, there will be no pot smoked on my streams. Okay, this is a pot-free channel. At least for me, I don't smoke pot, but Josh may have smoked that night, but he didn't smoke on stream. So technically, hasn't broke any terms of service. I don't think. I need to update myself on the terms of service. Yeah, I made this myself out of pipestone. Carved the initials myself. It's not the prettiest fucking thing you ever saw. It's a little off, not very round, but for my first time making a pipe, I'm pretty proud of it. This is a bison horn that or buffalo or bison, I can't remember, that the mouthpiece is made out of, and then this is all pipestone right here. And it started out greenish white. I think I showed it on the stream, on the podcast. It started out greenish white, and the tobacco oils over time make it black. So it'll look like obsidian when it's fully baked. Anyways, nice haircut. Thank you. Yeah, I definitely like it a lot more than my last hairdo. That shit was getting really annoying. Yeah, so crazy night. That's what we're here to talk about. It was a long night. So my girlfriend had her dream car. At a pretty young age. She saved up the money. You like the long hair in the camera video? Yeah, I didn't like the way it looked. I've had really long hair. I've actually had hair down to my mid-back before, but I cut it eventually. Because it looked like a mullet whenever I had a hat on. That pissed me off because I hate mullets. So I cut it. But I've had very long hair for sure. And just long hair, especially when I grow it out on the sides and the back, it drives me crazy because it gets all curly and uncomfortable. It itches all the time. It's a bitch to clean. So I like the short hair. I keep it long on top so I can still do something with it, slick it back, But then I look like a mob gangster. Rightfully so. Mullets suck. Mullets do suck. Anyways, on to the story. So my girlfriend had a 280ZX. It was a Nissan Datsun 280ZX. Fucking, if anyone knows anything about cars, especially in the Japanese community, they know that car. It was a fucking beautiful car. We found it in really good shape, surprisingly. It was her dream car. Well, tonight, the roads were shit. The roads were really icy, really snowy. She grew up in Colorado, so she's not as used to them as someone like, me or Gyro might be, where we grew up in pretty cold places with ice most of the winter. But also, it can happen to anyone. You don't have to be super fucking inexperienced to slide out on ice. And it was a shitty road. The roads here aren't meant for ice. They're meant for the desert. And she went off the road and rolled the car. And we had turned separate ways out of my driveway. She went one way, I went the other way. And maybe 2 minutes down the road before she called me, crying, told me that she rolled the car. And I won't get too much into the details because it's her personal stuff, and I'm not going to get into that. But needless to say, I didn't stream tonight because I turned my ass around and went straight to her. And I've spent the better part of the last 4 hours cleaning up, broken shit and getting all her stuff out of the car so it doesn't get stolen, and making sure that it's all wrapped up so it doesn't get snowed on and ruin the interior. I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to get it back to its former glory, if not better, honestly. It's going to take a lot of body work. Took some hits on the wheel wells for sure. Broke the back window, broke the T-top. Somehow the windshield and the actual windows didn't break. But the T-top, one of them, and the back window and the two triangle windows in the back definitely broke. The good thing is she has full glass coverage, so that should be easy to fix. Um, but it's going to need to repaint it. It's going to need a lot of work. Um, it's a real shame. It is, but it was rough. I tell you, you always think about scenarios in your head, like how they're going to play out, and you think, oh, I'm going to do this. I'll keep calm, this and that. And I am pretty surprised by how calm I was during the situation and how I kind of was able to take care of it the way I did. Um, but I tell you, I don't think there's a feeling in the world that compares to driving up to your girlfriend's car, not knowing exactly what the situation is, just that she's off the road, and just seeing it on its side in a ditch. Somehow, she walked away from the car completely unscathed. Thankfully, thank God. I mean, I'm not even, I talk about the car like I'm worried about the car, but I'm really not. The only reason I even give a fuck about the car is because she really, really cares about the car. Quite frankly, as long as she's okay, I could give less than two fucks what the car looks like, but she really cares about the car, so I care. Um, but she was not even a fucking scratch. I have no idea how. She rolled the car, ended up on its side, and didn't even get a cut, crawling out the window. I mean, just, fuck. I have no idea how she was so okay, but thank God she was, I mean, God, like, I don't really know how to explain otherwise how she ended up okay, but she was. So I'm gonna claim God on this one. I don't usually do that, but thank God, or whatever is up there watching over. I subscribe to the God thing, so thank God. Fuck, yeah, it was crazy, man. Oof. But yeah, I mean, she was going slow. She knows how to drive on ice, but she just hit that black ice with a rear-wheel drive car and couldn't correct it and went off, And it was a pretty good drop, probably a 10-foot drop. We have a first-time chatter, which I'm pretty sure is just a bot. I want to offer promotion of your channel. Viewers, followers, views, chat bots. The price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed to be the best. Auto, on, incredibly flexible and convenient. Order management panel. Everything's in your hands. Turn it on/off/customize. Go to doghype.com. Okay, well, you can't even put .com. You had to put a dot and spell it out. Yeah, it's a bot. Gyro also says it's a bot. I'm trying to figure out how to just delete it. I'm sure I can do that. Unless I can't. I guess I can't. We'll just mute it. Matter of fact, this is why I have people like Gyro, because I don't know how to do this shit. There's a little sword on it. Why can't I do anything about that? Whatever. There's no one else in the chat besides Gyro, so just don't ignore that shit. Whatever. My entire driveway has been black ice before, says Gyro. Yeah. I remember when I used to live in Alaska, I probably shouldn't say too much. My dad was a worker that worked at night, and his work vehicle was parked in the driveway every night. And the work vehicle was a Crown Victoria. And I don't know why the fuck they gave people who worked in Alaska, oh, good job, Gyro, who worked in Alaska on the roads every day, Crown Victorians, or Crown Victorias for that work. I'll never understand why in Alaska they had Crown Victorias, but they did. They had Crown Victorias, and it would get stuck in the driveway every fucking night, because it had 5 inches of clearance. And so every night, Dad would go to work at midnight, and he'd come into my room right as I was going to sleep and be like, "Get dressed. You got to come out and help me get the car unstuck." Motherfucker, dude, So I get up, 14-year-old me or whatever. We go out there with shovels, and we dig in the fucking ice, with pickaxes and shovels trying to get a nice little ramp for him to get out of the driveway. It was only fucking 10 feet he had to back up, but the fucking, that car just wouldn't do it. And it was rear-wheel drive, I'm pretty sure, which is like, again, why for icy, snowy conditions like that. We get them unstuck every morning, or every nighttime, every night. I don't know. It sucked ass. There was one night, still trying to like keep what my dad did under wraps because I don't know. I'm not really sure if I should talk about that on Twitch, but he had a push bumper on the front of a Crown Victoria. If you know what a Crown Victoria is and you haven't guessed what my dad did yet, whatever. I won't say it out loud, or I won't just say it straight. I'll beat around the bush with this. I don't usually beat around the bush, but I'll beat around the bush. He had a push bumper on the front of it, big push bumper. And my uncle was trying to help get the car out of the driveway one night, and he hooked his truck up to the front of the push bumper, which is stupid. It's the dumbest thing. And Gyro will neither confirm nor deny that. But considering I'm going to be a cop, maybe. Hooked his shit up to the front of the push bumper, right? And tried pulling him out with that and ripped the push bumper straight off the front of that car. Because you don't hook tow straps up to a bumper. You hook it up to the frame. I don't know what he was thinking, but he did that. Ripped the push bumper right off. My dad caught some flack at work for that one. Yeah, he just ripped it right off. Fuck. They do use Crown Victorias for cops. They do. Yeah, back in like 2003. I don't know why. I won't keep talking. I'll just say Alaskan police should not be using Crown Victorias. They should be using like trucks and SUVs. But all they had up there was Crown Victorians and Explorers, which still don't have a whole lot of clearance. But at least those, I'm pretty sure, are all-wheel drive or have four-wheel drive options. Really stupid. But anyways, so yeah, we used to have to dig my dad out of the driveway every fucking night. It was awful. Living up there in Alaska, it snowed every night. And once it snowed in August, it did not. September, sometimes August, depending on where you're at. When it snowed in August, the snow didn't go away until like April or May. Snow was there to stay. It just kept piling up, and you'd have about 5-6 feet of snow by the end of the winter. And the ice, you couldn't just clear the roadways of snow, so it would just pile up and as compacted snow over time. And by the end of the, April, May. By April or May, you'd probably have about 3 feet of ice on the roads that just, the roads would gain about 3 feet of height over the winter, And there's some spots where they didn't really know where the road went, so some curves, they would just go straight, because who knows where the road is? You just fucking go, and cars kind of end up wherever they end up. The major highways usually stay decently cleared in the, major cities. But once you got out in the bumfuck nowhere, the road was wherever your fucking tires went, But anyways, I was babbling on about a bunch of shit. And I guess that's what the stream's going to be. It's just going to be me babbling, and I'm cool with that, whatever. What a day. I don't even know. Some crazy shit's been going on in my house. I've got a lot of shit done at this house. Me and my mom have been working on it. And got a beautiful backdrop here. Rough wood. I could get splinters just rubbing it. But it looks good. I really like how it looks anyways. We got pine on the ceiling. It's pretty fucking nice. Got new lights installed. They change colors, which is pretty cool. I can't turn them on, though, because the lighting just fucking fucks the stream. I still have a dirt bike in my kitchen. Yeah. Waiting on my uncle to get home because he's got a machine shop. We're going to bore out the cylinder because that piston doesn't fit the cylinder. So for some reason, that 250 has been fucked with so much since 1993 that it has a 200cc cylinder, and I bought a 250 piston because I figured it was still a 250. So we got to bore that out so the piston will fit, There's a bunch of other shit going on with that fucking bike that I gotta address. But it should be running within the next month, maybe the next 2 months. I don't know. I gotta save up a lot of money towards, fixing the Datsun rather than my shit that doesn't matter, like my dirt bike. I have 4, so that one can wait. Yeah, yeah. So anyways, we got a bunch of shit done in this house. We've been working at it, chipping away at it. And a lot of weird shit has been happening in this house since we moved in. I mean, it's been like sus, like some ghost shit. Well, I don't know. There's been a few things that happened. Like one night, me and my girlfriend were staying here, and I was on the couch. I was just watching videos. I think it was like Code Blue Cam or some fucking shit, just typical shit I watch. And I hear it was loud enough that I heard it over the TV and everything else. Yeah, ooh, spooky ghost. I don't know how to explain it. I genuinely don't. I don't know if I would say it's a ghost, but I don't know how to explain what it was, But anyways, so I was sitting there watching TV one night, right? Minding my business. And I don't know what it was to this day, but something right outside the back door that I'm sitting right next to. It was, I don't know how to explain the sound, but it was like a growl, right? Like a snarl, but it was like a low grumble of a growl. And it didn't sound like an animal. It definitely didn't sound like a human, or at least a normal sound a human would make. And it went on for like fucking 30 seconds, just like, and I kept changing pitches, so I knew it wasn't like a rumble of something. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And it was like, there's something I've seen in my house that I still can't explain to this day. Sure, we'll get on to that right after this story, Gyro. We'll tell ghost stories. I don't know what it was, but I heard it over the TV. It was loud. It was like right on my porch. And so I paused the TV and I'm sitting there, I'm listening to it, and I'm just like, I'm trying to like understand what I'm hearing, if I'm like actually hearing it, if I'm tripping, what. And I'm just like listening. And finally it stops. And I got up, made sure the door was locked, and I sat back down. And I was like, I'm not looking outside. I'm not doing shit. If it's outside, it can stay outside. I'm not even fucking worried about it. So I just didn't think anything of it, right? So then the boys come down. The guys I had here, Josh and BigZerakos, they were down here. And we were having a great time, hanging out in the house. You guys saw some of it, smoking cigars, having a good time. We're friends that hadn't seen each other in a few years. Well, we had seen each other in a few years, but we don't see each other very often because, BigZerakos in Alaska and fucking Josh is in Arizona and I'm in Colorado. So, we're pretty spread out. So we're having a good time, catching up. And I think it was twice. On 2 separate mornings, Josh is an early riser, so he gets up before us, which is funny for a stoner, but he gets up before everyone else. He gets up at like 7, every morning, no matter what's going on. So he gets up at 7. My ass, I am a night person, obviously, by, the time that I stream most things. I wake up at like noon, maybe. Noon, sometimes 10 or 11. But as me and Theodore are sleeping in, Josh is up. Josh kept hearing, like, knocking on the walls and the windows from outside. And he kept getting up and going around and checking all the windows and shit. And he's, like, freaking out. He's like, what the fuck is this? And Gyro says, I get up at 5 p.m. There's been times, dude. Today, I woke up at 9. I went to bed at, like, midnight last night. Woke up at 9. And I was like, okay, for sure. No biggie. I'm up now. I'm going to start my day and do productive shit. And then it snowed all day. And I was like, not a whole lot I can do in the snow. So like around 1 or 2, I was tired again. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going back to bed. And I slept until like about 5 p.m. And then I woke up and because my girlfriend had come over and I was like, all right, well, let's hang out, do something. But no, there's nothing in the world I love doing more than sleeping. Sleeping is amazing. Just get to not exist for a little while. It's pretty nice. Anyways, so Josh kept hearing knocking on the windows, right, while we're sleeping. And I've heard shit like that before, but I always just kind of wrote it off as like, oh, it's the vents cooling down after the heater turns off. It's this, it's that. But Josh, like, he explained it as like straight up, like, and then time would go by, nothing, maybe like 10 minutes later, nothing, right? And it would just keep going until we woke up. And I was like, that's fucking weird, and he's like, I know it wasn't you guys because it was like over there and the bedrooms are over there and you guys were dead asleep. I checked a few times and I was like, I don't know, dude, that's fucking weird. So that happened. Now this is where it all comes to a peak, right? We were planning on getting security cameras because things have been happening a little strange. We're wondering if maybe someone's outside fucking with us, right? Because everything that's happened so far has been outside the house. Like the house is a creepy place to be on your own. But as far as we knew, everything that had been happening so far was outside that we could tell, right? So we're like, okay, well let's get cameras, just in case, that way no one's stealing bikes out of the yard or any of that. Just get cameras. So 2 days before we get cameras, me and my girlfriend are sitting on the couch right in front of me right here. And the front door is over here through this hallway, right? And it's pretty far down that hallway. It's probably about 10, 15 feet, right? And the couches are right there, right? So I'm sitting on the other side, Allie's sitting on this side. We're hanging out, right? So she's asleep. She's dead asleep. It's probably like 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting on the couch and watching PewDiePie, that's our thing. We watch PewDiePie together. She falls asleep. I think nothing of it. I think, okay, I'll watch a few more videos until I'm tired, and then we'll go to bed. So we're sitting there, and there is no mistaking what I heard. Because she woke up and heard it too. Like there is no mistaking what I heard. Like someone balled up a fist as hard as they could and smacked the front door. Just boom! And I was like, what the fuck? And before I could even process what I heard, my instincts kicked in and I jumped off the couch and was down the hallway, right? Because my shotgun is in the bedroom, which is at the end of the hallway, right next to the front door. And so I hear the bang on the door, I jump off, and I'm like sprinting down the hallway, right? And I get just to where I can see the front door. And the front door's got this tiny little window, like this big and this tall, one of those stupid fucking doors. It's got a tiny little window that I can see sideways out of onto the porch and down the stairs. I can see the porch. I can see that there's nothing on the porch. And a second time, as I can see out the window, boom, the fucking door shakes. I mean, I see the door move. And I get up to the window, I grab the shotgun, because it's like right there. I grab the shotgun while I'm looking out the window, and there's nothing there. There's nothing, not a goddamn thing. Now, it's a windy night. It's a really windy night. It gets really windy down here. And so I grab my shotgun. I already have my flashlight in my hand. I grabbed it as I ran down the hall. And I just fucking throw the door open. So if anyone's sitting right next to it, it smacks them. I just fucking wing the door open, right? Nothing on the porch. I'm looking around for maybe something blew up and hit the door. Nothing on the ground around. Nothing that could have hit the door. I walk around the house with my shotgun. I'm just looking for what the fuck was that? Nothing. There's nothing to be seen. And it's not like woods around my house. It's a field. It's flat field. So I could see if anyone was out there running, if anyone was around. There's nothing around. I have no idea what the fuck happened. I'm just like, what the fuck? What was that, And, of course, my girlfriend, she's like freaked out. She's like, I don't know if we should stay here tonight. We should go over to the other house. We should go to my house, whatever. We shouldn't be here tonight. This is kind of creepy. This isn't good. I was like, look, all right. It was a little weird. It was probably the wind, maybe the wind hit the door and the door just moved a little bit, It is what it is. It's a windy day, Go ahead, go to sleep. I got the gun. The doors are locked. It's no big deal. We'll just, we'll call it good for the night. So she, goes to sleep. I didn't fucking sleep a goddamn blink that night, dude. Not a blink. maybe an hour when the sun rose. You know, I was sitting there the whole night just waiting to hear a sound, just shotgun next to my bed, just like, fuck with me again. I got slugs, you know? Like, what the fuck? Um, but no, it was weird. I genuinely don't know how to explain that because it was not the wind. It was not the wind. And something hit that fucking door. Something hit that door. And I've come to the point in this house where I'm like, okay, either A, there's ghosts, you know, or something that's fucking with me and fucking with us, or B, there's someone fucking with us. And I don't know what option I like more, you know? Like, I don't really want to think about someone fucking with us. I mean, granted, if it's someone, I can shoot someone. I can defend in some way towards a person. If it's like some paranormal shit, which I've never really subscribed to, but it's always kind of been a thought in the back of my head, then I also, like, what do I do? You know, what do you do at that point? You know, do I call in the fucking Ghostbusters? Do I perform a seance and, you know, Jocko, go away, Jocko, you cannot stay, kind of thing, you know? Like, what do I do? I don't know. That was a Ghost Stories reference, by the way. To anyone who got that, you're a legend. To anyone who didn't, I don't blame you. It's a anime from the 90s that didn't even really get an English dub, and the English dub it did get was like, they just said fuck it and came up with shit as they went, because they had, back then there wasn't really a lot of support for translating Japanese into English for cartoons. But yeah, so that's my little, very obscure anime, yes, but it's so good, so good. If you speak English, which I'm sure you do if you're listening to the stream, watch Ghost Stories. It's on Crunchyroll. It is great. It is great. You'll love it. The English dub for that is just the most comical shit I've ever seen. But yeah, so that was the Ghost Stories so far. I haven't had really anything happen after that, and nothing's really happened with the cameras. But yeah, it was weird. But I got the camera set up now, and there's one watching the front, there's one watching the back, watching the shed and all the bikes and everything. But now that I've sat here and talked about it, and, you know, nothing's happened yet since I put the cameras up. Now some crazy shit's gonna happen tonight. It's gonna be the cherry on top of my night, you know. Yeah. No, it's been a crazy fucking day, and it's been a crazy few weeks, honestly. Let's see, we got people texting. Oh, it's Discord telling me I'm live. Well, I've been live, so hopefully it didn't restart. Gyro, what's our ghost story from you for the day? Let's see what you've got. Oh, more Snap Hose adding me on Snap. Check this shit out, guys. Look at that. Oh, maybe. No, it's not going to work. If I put it all the way up. Oh, we got it. Now we go up. Now we go this way. Look at all the Snap Hose. They added me. There's one more. And I don't add any of them back. Leave me the fuck alone. Fucking Snap Hose, dude. All these bots. It's so annoying. Does anyone else have that problem? I feel like my Snap just got leaked onto some awful website, and there's just fucking a bunch of like scammers texting me, and it's like, fuck off, dude. Most of them are fake, you know. You don't get like an actual response out of them. They're just like, you know, go to this website and see my live nudes, and I'm just like, stop. I don't want your live nudes. No one wants your live nudes. No one falls for that shit. Does anyone actually fall for that shit besides like 14-year-olds who are just horny? Like, all you kids out there, who are on Snap, even though you shouldn't be, if some random girl adds you, no matter if it's quick ad or search, and she is saying things that are too good to be true, guess what? They're too good to be true. Or you got to pay them. Either way, it's too good to be true. All right, Gyro says, one thing I remember was that this was on a Christmas Eve. Okay, Christmas Eve, that's always good for ghost stories. And I remember going to sleep, as one does on Christmas Eve, of course. Got to get them presents. I remember being so ecstatic and so tired that I just crashed. Now, I don't exactly know what the hell happened because I was half asleep and, like, dead. This was a few years ago, mind you, so I woke up. I don't know what time it was, but my parents sleep outside of my room, so I could see them. Everything's weird in Canada. Now, it was definitely morning. I could tell that much, but I looked out my door and just didn't see my living room. It was pure light. I don't know what the hell it was, but it was just pure, bright light. Well, Gyro, that's not a ghost story. You saw Santa Claus. Fuck. Come on, man. That big old beard reflecting all the light. It was just Santa Claus. We have a small house, so that's why. Oh, for sure, dude. I get you. I know people that used to sleep, a brother, sister, and 2 parents slept in a fucking one-room log cabin, In Alaska, they do that shit all the time. Santa doesn't exist. Gyro, what are you on about? Why were you even going to sleep on Christmas Eve if you got that attitude? You didn't get no fucking presents. Unless you count a lump of coal, which is getting pretty expensive these days, so that's actually a decent present if you got a wood stove. Unless it's like shit coal you can't even use. If you want a really creepy story, I got you. All right, Gyro, let's hear it. I got creepy stories. I don't want to hear yours. Oh, anywho. Let me show you guys something real quick while Gyro types this up. I think it's pretty cool. Oh, God. Don't kick my table. It's a little shit table. Jaku, go away. Jaku, you cannot stay. All right, so check it out, guys. So I rebuilt that 250, right? This is the old piston out of it. Fuck. Whoops. So I'm using it as an ashtray. And, well, I forgot there were ashes in it. But anyways, so that's the piston. I might as well just dump out the rest of them. Still vacuum that up. Yeah, those marks on the piston are not from the valves. Those are from me beating it out because it was rusted into the cylinder. But there you go. Nice little piston, and I'm using it as an ashtray. It was like the coolest ashtray I could have ever gotten. And I actually worked for it. I didn't buy it. Granted, when you buy something, you work for it. But I dug this out of a fucking motorcycle. Do you understand? It's pretty cool. And now there's fucking ashes all over my fucking laptop and the table. Look at this shit. I made a mess. And then the cigar butt for my little cigarillo just fell out too. God damn it. Whatever. Anyways, so that's my ashtray. Alright, so Gyro texted his creepy story. Back when me and my brother had a bunk bed, he always said he had a dream about a clown taking his blanket off his bed and off of him. That was it. Just his blanket gone. When he woke up, his blanket would always be in our hallway area, every single time. That is fucking creepy. I tell you what, I've had some awful fucking dreams that I remember. I used to get sleep paralysis real bad, and sometimes, like, my dreams would kind of, like, coincide with that. And that shit sucked. That's why I always sleep on my stomach or my side, because if I sleep on my back, that's how I used to get sleep paralysis. I'd sleep on my back, and you'd wake up and, you couldn't breathe, and someone would be sitting on your chest, or there'd be something sitting in the corner of the room. And it was always, like, creepy. It was never scary. Like, the shit you saw never, like, tried to hurt you. It would just sit there and look at you. You couldn't move. You just had to sit there and look back, like, ooh, and as, like, a little 13, 12-year-old kid, that shit was terrifying. Especially because I didn't know anything about sleep paralysis. I just have these awful dreams and be like, what the fuck, And then I did some research and figured it out. I used to always have a dream where my spine was being ripped out, and I could feel it. That's pretty awful. I had a dream last night about something, and I could feel it happening. And I woke up, and I was like, I wonder if that actually happened. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, physically feeling it. No, I get you. So I had a dream. This is probably the craziest one that I can remember. That had to do with, like, waking up and the shit in the dream coincided with the shit that actually happened in real life. So I had a room when I was a kid, and it had a really weird closet. It had, like, a center closet with, like, doors and drawers, and then on the sides were, like, the actual closets, right? And the doors slid together over the drawers and stuff, and that would open up the closets, and then you slid them out, and they would cover the closets. It was actually a really cool fucking design, now that I think about it. It was a really cool house. It was my favorite house I've ever lived in, for sure. I've woken up with cuts or scratches in places I've gotten cut or scratched. That's interesting. That is weird. But anyways, so I had this closet, right? And I was the kind of kid that when I slept, the fucking windows had to be covered, and the closet doors had to be shut. I would not fucking sleep even if it was pitch black. I would not sleep if those things were not addressed, right? And most of it was because of sleep paralysis. Because when I'd wake up, there'd be something hiding in the darkness of my closet, or someone peeking through the window, even though I lived on the second story, and that shit was just no go. So they were always covered. Not to mention in Alaska, during the summer, the sun doesn't go down, so you got to have blackout curtains on your fucking windows, or your room is just daylight all the time, and you can't sleep. So I would have my windows and closet covered, right? Well, one night I was sleeping, and I had, like, the most vivid dream, man. It was just, I genuinely felt like I was there. So when I was a kid, I used to go, like, my favorite thing to do in the middle of nowhere in Alaska, because there's nothing to fucking do, was we would just go out in the woods, and we'd have a blast in the woods, make forts, play games, all that. And when I was by myself, I would just run. I loved running through the woods, because there's something about running through the woods, like, not on a trail, just through the woods, that is just so invigorating. You feel so much faster, when you're running through the woods and there's no trail, and you're just, like, jumping off trees and over moss and all this shit. And the woods in Alaska, in central Alaska, I was living in Cantwell, to be specific at the time, are fucking awesome. They're awesome. They're beautiful. They're fun to run, whatever. So anyways, I was running through the woods, and I just remember feeling so alive, man. I was just running. I was jumping. I could run as fast as possible and jump as high as possible. And I was, like, jumping on one tree and then leaping off of it onto another tree and going back and forth down the trail, like jumping between the trees with one foot on each tree, like a wipeout course. It was fucking great. And all of a sudden, that feeling of aliveness and fun turned into the feeling of being chased. Like, I wasn't running for fun. I was running from something, and it was right behind me, and I was just fucking booking it. I was just running as fast as I could to get away from whatever was, like, right behind me, about to grab me, And as I'm doing this, for some reason, I knew that if I reached the tree line to this field, right? If I got to this field, whatever was behind me couldn't get me, right? If that was, like, my safe zone. So I was just booking it. And as soon as I got into the field, I jumped. I just jumped up and spun around and was just like, fuck yeah. I got to the field, and I jumped up and spun around. And it was like Tom and Jerry, where the dog's, like, on a leash and he can't get to Tom because he's standing right at the edge of the leash. I got up right in this thing's face, and I'll show you what I saw. Because I know exactly what it looked like. So if anyone has ever listened to Disturbed, God, I gotta get these ashes out of here. Now there's ashes everywhere else. If anyone's ever listened to Disturbed and seen their album covers, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'll show you guys just in case. Alright, so this guy is what I saw. Let's see. Let's click on this image, and then no, I don't want to go to fucking, whatever. We'll go to Reddit. So, let's see. Stream virtual camera? No. Sources. I'm trying to remember how to do this. Display capture. Okay. Oh yeah, that works. Perfect. Hey look guys, there's my streaming setup. Holy shit. Bets on the Lost Children. No, not exactly. Just any album. This guy. The guy from Disturbed, right? This guy. Except you couldn't see his face. You could only see the eyes and the smile. Let me see. There's a more specific one. Yeah, this. Yeah, from Indestructible. This is what I saw in my dream, right? And it was awful. It was awful. And it sucks, too, because I love Disturbed. And I still love Disturbed. But up until this dream, I really dug how this guy looked. After this dream, not so much. Yeah, Lost Children, or 10,000 Fists right there. Yeah, so I saw this. I saw this guy. You know, he's sitting at the tree line, smiling all, just looking me in the face, right? And I felt empowered. He is such a cool looking character. That's the truth. But so I see this guy, right? And I get up in his face. I mean, I've always had like anger issues as a kid, right? I've worked on them a lot since. Because the anger issues I've always had were never like physical. Like I was never very much of a physical child. I wouldn't like hurt someone when I was pissed, but I got like a high from yelling at someone. You know, like just getting up in their face and fucking just feeling the rage. Like the rage just was addictive, which is a very like sus thing to say, but you get that a lot with people with anger issues. It's like an addictive thing, the rage. You know, the adrenaline you get from just being fucking pissed. But anyways, I hadn't worked on that. Nowadays, I've gotten pretty good at it where I can keep my cool even when I'm pissed. You know, I can talk in like a level-headed way and not yell at someone. And it took a lot of work, but anyways, back then, I was still a little asshole, and I still had a lot of rage. I remember I got up in this thing's face, and I was just screaming right at his fucking face, nose to nose, fuck you, and I just fucking got up in its face, and I just felt the rage, and I felt the anger, and I was just like, fuck you, and I was like, I win, motherfucker, you know, I was like, fuck you, bitch, going off on this thing, right? And then all of a sudden, I blinked, and I woke up in my room, and I'm sitting on my bed, and my closet doors are wide open, which is like a no-go, right? There's no way I would have fallen asleep with my fucking closet doors open, so I immediately knew something was off. And I could just feel the feeling of something looking at me from the closet, right? And it went from anger to like that feeling you get when you get startled, right? That like jump, you know, that like, oh fuck, like that ping in your heart, you know? And then the dread comes right after. And I remember I had a heavy ass pillow. I picked up my pillow and I flung it as fucking hard as I could. I mean, I just fucking wang it, you know, because it's a dream, so I have superhuman strength. Just fucking wang it right into that closet. I just remember as soon as I heard it fucking smack the wall, all of a sudden, I'm sitting there in this fucking, Disturbed, was sitting there in my face at the edge of my bed. And I was just like, oh, fuck, you know, like just a feeling of you fucked up. Like he got caught stealing from the cookie jar kind of thing. And he's looking me dead in the eyes with that unique smile, you know. And he says, no, fuck you. And then I woke up. And I wake up in my bed and the closet door's open. And this time, I'm not sure if it's a dream again or if it's real. And I'm just like, what the fuck? what do I do? You know? And so I was just paralyzed. I was paralyzed in fear. I didn't know what to do. And so I just curled up in the corner of my bed and I didn't move for the rest of the night. I just sat there, you know? I remember I turned my flashlight on my phone a few times and kind of like shined it in the closet, but I still couldn't see because the flashlights back then on phones sucked ass. And I couldn't really see into the closet, you know? And yeah, that dream fucking stayed with me for a while. Spoiler alert, when I woke up, that was the last time I woke up. Like, it wasn't a dream that time I woke up. But yeah, no, that dream fucked with me for a while. That was a pretty crazy dream. Chiro says, I guess his name is the guy. Yeah, it is for now. I don't know, what is his name? Aw, my cigar went out. It tastes like shit when you relight them. That sucks ass. Especially with a soft flame lighter. Soft flame lighters suck ass. No, it's actually the guy. That's the guy's name. The guy. Well, that's the guy. Yeah, the guy was in my dream. Scared the fuck out of me. Stuck with me for a long time. I still love Disturbed. Fuck. There's some really good songs by Disturbed, you know? And the guy just looks so fucking badass, dude. You want to talk about some great album covers. Yeah, actually, if you go to the Discord, by the way, go check out the Discord. You go to the Discord in the art section, the virtual art section, I posted a Photoshop I did of the Disturbed albums, where it's like, I can't remember the name of the album, but it's like the one with the pentagram and the horns and all that. Inside the pentagram is all the other Disturbed albums, like integrated with the pentagram. It looks pretty cool. My closet has a hole in it, and we've never been in there. My closet covers that closet door. Nice, nice. It's funny too. So when I was a kid, that closet, right? They had my closet and then an identical closet on the other side of that wall in my little brother's room. And those closet doors, like I said, they slid like barn doors, but the bottoms weren't connected to anything. So you could push the closet door from the outside and it would like turn on the axis, right? And just swing. So what we did, it's from Believe, yes. The Believe album cover, and I have all the other album covers integrated into Believe. That is the album, good job. So what we did one day, me and my friends, we were assholes, we drilled a hole in my wall in my closet, which we destroyed that fucking house. We were kids that knew how to use power tools, and we shouldn't have. We were assholes. We were definitely assholes. We drilled a hole in that closet door, or in the closet wall, and then we put a stick through it, and we would press on my little brother's closet door from inside his closet, and he never knew. And so we would fuck with him so much and scare the shit out of him with that closet. It was an awful thing to do. 10,000 Fists is probably your favorite album. I think mine's probably Indestructible, if I had to guess. Yeah, I don't know. 10,000 Fists is really good. What's that album cover? The one with the dude, like... I always thought he looked like a juggernaut, and as I grew up, now I look at him and I don't know what the fuck. He looks like he's being born. Mundane? No. Is it The Sickness? The Sickness. It's The Sickness. Yeah, the one with Down with the Sickness in it. You know, like their most popular album cover of all time. Asylum's really good. So is Immortality. And then Indestructible, of course, is a great album, for sure. I mean, all the albums are so fucking good. 10,000 Fists, yeah. 10,000 Fists is good. 10,000 Fists as a song is good. As an album, it's great, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Some crazy shit. I remember there was a dream I had when I was young. I mean, I was 6 years old. And we just moved up to Alaska. We drove from Colorado all the way up through Canada into Alaska with a old Ford F-250 with a horse trailer behind it and a camper shell on the F-250. We had all our shit packed into this fucking shit. And we drove up there in the middle of fucking February, I think. And so we drive up through Canada in the middle of February with this old beat down 90s, maybe 80s F-250. And we just connected moose lights to it, which if you don't know because you're from the lower 48, moose lights are basically KC off-roading lights, but they're huge. I mean, just huge spotlights that go in the front of your car and produce a lot of heat to melt the ice off so they don't freeze over during the winter. And you're supposed to point them at the sides of the road so you can see any moose that might be on the side of the road, because I'm sure anyone who knows how big a moose is knows what it'll do to your fucking car. You don't want to hit a moose. I'd say it's worse than getting in a head-on collision, honestly. But so we had these moose lights on there, and they were kind of jerry-rigged onto there, and they kept tripping the fuse, and all the lighting in the car would just go out all of a sudden because they were hooked up to the high beams. So they would just trip the fuse because there was too much amperage, and all the lights would go out all of a sudden in the fucking car, right? My mom hated it. My mom had never left her little hometown, so moving up to Alaska was kind of a big thing. But anyways, so I remember we moved up there, and the day we got there, I was in my house, in my new house, right? It was, a big deal. I was 6 years old. I had never moved in my entire life. It was kind of a big deal to me. Let's read the fist real quick. My sister's closet door used to open and close. Like in broad daylight, you'd close them and they'd slam open right in front of you. That's kind of weird. Gyro's about to type something. Says this is kind of random. But anyways, so we're moving up to this fucking place up in Alaska, right? And it's a little trailer, kind of like what I'm in right now. Old trailer from like the 60s, maybe the 70s. And it was just something temporary, to move up there and get our feet planted, And so we move up there, and I had this dream the day we got there that night. I had this dream that like me and my whole family here from Colorado went up there, and we were on a road trip, and it was like a gas station. The house was like a gas station that we were stopping at, like a rest stop, but it was like abandoned. My mom was going to the bathroom, and there was like a hole or like a pipe coming out of the metal, or not metal, the cement wall that led into the bathroom. Somehow we knew that. And my uncle was sitting there, fucking around and like making creepy noises into the pipe, trying to scare my mom while she was going to the bathroom. And all of a sudden, these two coffins that were, it's a weird dream, I was 6. These two coffins that were on the wall, like leaned up against the wall right next to the pipe, just burst open. And these two guys come out of the fucking coffins. And one was Abraham Lincoln, and he was colored copper, just like the penny. Like he was colored copper like the penny. I was 6. I guess I thought Abraham Lincoln looked like he does on the penny in real life. I don't know. Now, a little preface to this dream. The whole way up to Alaska, we had those little mini DVD players, me and my little brother, sitting in the back seat of that Ford. And the whole way up to Alaska, we watched nothing but Scooby-Doo, or What's New Scooby-Doo Volume 2, and I think that's it. No, we had Tom and Jerry. We had Tom and Jerry too. So we watched nothing but Scooby-Doo all the way up to fucking Alaska. 6 days in a car watching nothing but Scooby-Doo. So that might explain a little bit of the stream. But anyways, two coffins burst open. Here's Abraham Lincoln, and he's like a zombie, but not a zombie. He's like a dead guy, but he's made of copper. And then there was the guy from, I think it was George Washington from the fucking quarter. Also the color of a quarter. But anyways, they burst out and they start trying to like get us, right? And so we all take off. We just run. And they chased us and whatever. And we're running through the house. And I remember we ran around for a little while. And then the day that we had got there, my dad had already been living there for a little while. But the day we got there, my dad, because my mom was complaining about all the dead grass in the front yard, he lit the yard on fire and burned all the dead grass off and like started a controlled fire in our front yard so that new grass would sprout back up. And it actually worked. But it was quite the spectacle as a child to watch my dad light the yard on fire. So anyways, we're running around hiding from these zombies. I don't really remember too much in between there. But I remember I ran out on the front porch and my dad was sitting there and he said, "All right, stand back, kid." And he lit a match from the front yard porch, threw it over the driveway. It landed on the fucking yard where the two zombies were walking around in the front yard. And the yard caught fire like it was gas. Just went, and the fucking zombies were dead. right? And so I'm like, okay, yay. And then I ran back in to go to my mom's room. And I remember I woke up from this dream at some point, and I was young and I was scared, so I went in my parents' room and I crawled into their bed, but I still had these little Spider-Man slippers on. And this is important, I promise. I had Spider-Man slippers on my feet, and I didn't take them off. I just crawled into the sheets and went to sleep again, and woke up in the same dream. Well, I uh, I remember I ran into my mom's room in the dream. I ran in, and there was a girl who I think was my cousin. She was like an adult, so like she was my cousin, but like not really what you would consider a cousin. And like her legs were replaced with a pogo stick. Don't ask me. And she was jumping on, I think it was my mother. Um, she was jumping up and down and like killed her with a pogo stick. And then she started running after me. So I ran into my parents' room and I jumped under the sheets, jumped under the covers, and like threw them over my head like I was gonna hide, you know. And I just remember hearing boing, 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 boing until she was in my room. And then she jumped up on the bed and started bouncing on me. And I remember I was like kicking and trying to get out, but I couldn't move my legs. And I didn't know why. I was like stuck in the covers and my like legs wouldn't move in the blankets. And all of a sudden I woke up kicking and I couldn't move my legs because my fucking slippers were on. You know, like they were catching on the blankets and I couldn't move. And then I woke up and everything was fine. But like, I like died in the dream and woke up in real life and was like, oh my god, it scarred me as a kid. It was like the worst thing I'd ever dreamed. Up until the disturbed dream, it was the only dream that like genuinely scared me that I remembered, you know. But it was wild. Anyways, so Gyro says this is kind of random. My sister had a friend who played with an Ouija board in like a shed-looking area near a playground up the road to my house. Her and her friend were at the playground, and this shed building thing had a window. And it wasn't a house. No one lived in it or owned it. They saw a person just standing in the window with no face, no color, just a figure looking at them. And Gyro says, hells yeah, I gotta get up to school for an hour. That is terrifying, Gyro. That is weird. Yeah, gotta get up for school in an hour. You always stay too damn late, Gyro. You need to get some sleep, dude. Me, I gotta stay up until 9 because I gotta go down when the tow trucks get there to pull the Datsun out, and then guide them to my house where we can park it for a little while and try to keep it covered so it doesn't get ruined. But anyways, so yeah, that's creepy. Sigma grind set. Yeah, for sure. We're both Sigmas today. Very tired. Yeah, go to sleep, Gyro. You don't have to stick around, man. Get out of here. An hour of sleep's better than none. But anyways, I got a creepy story. And I'm not really sure how many people are going to believe it because, quite frankly, it's not a very believable story. But it did happen. And I've not told many people this story because I don't really think that anyone would really believe it. And when I have a story that I don't think people are going to believe, I just don't fucking tell it. It's like, I'm not going to be that guy that's like, oh man, did you hear that fucking story you told? No, I'd rather listen to Putty's Wendigoon. Putty's Wendigoon. Yeah. I don't think I have any Wendigo stories, surprisingly enough. Because the Wendigo is something I kind of, yeah, I wouldn't say like believe in it, like no doubt in my mind it 100% exists, but I have my doubts, like I wouldn't be surprised if it existed, Well, yeah, but you're doing Wendigo stuff. I kind of am, yeah, I guess. Kind of sitting here and just ranting, but I'm cool with that. Honestly, if Wendigoon did a stream like this, I would absolutely fucking watch it. I'd watch it a few times. If you like Wendigoon and you like creepy stuff, Gyro, check out The Lore Lodge at YouTube. They've collabed with Wendigoon once or twice, and Wendigoon is fucking great, and The Lore Lodge is great, and they talk a lot about the Wendigo. I should do more of these. I probably will, as time goes on. I was actually thinking about doing reaction videos. I don't know what the terms of service for Twitch say about that, but like, if I get a webcam, and I might be able to use the webcam on my fucking laptop while I stream the display on my computer. I might be able to do like a reaction video type thing. That would be fun. I would love doing reaction videos. Um, I kind of wanted to show pictures of the Datsun on here in the crash, but I'm not sure what the terms of service on car accidents are on Twitch. Because I know, like, even if there's like an act of violence on Twitch that you didn't do, but it happened while you were streaming, even if it's not your fault, you'll get banned. That's it. Like that, they don't. They have no sympathy. Like there's a guy who was streaming live. He did like the kind of in IRL streams where he just went around and streamed his life, kind of like a vlog, but it was a stream. And he didn't get carjacked, but I think there was a carjacking that was on his stream. Someone got carjacked in front of him, and he didn't get carjacked. He wasn't responsible for the people who carjacked. It just happened, right? And they banned him like that. Gone. Never gave him his account back. That happened like 4 years ago. That was it. So I'm trying to be a little careful about what I show on my streams. As far as I know, tobacco and alcohol are fine, as long as you're not like endangering yourself, because it falls under the self-harm in their terms of service. So if you're like consuming copious amounts of alcohol to where it's actually like a danger to you or whatever, then you can get banned. There was a guy who smoked like a lot of pot for his streams all the time, and they let it slide for a while, and then finally they just banned him when he was so fucking stoned and so baked. He was like passing out on stream. So they banned him. But I think I'm good so far. Hopefully I'll just stay good. I'm going to try to stay on Twitch's good side. Not that I think I'm going to get big enough to where it'll actually matter and like Twitch will actually see my streams, but better safe than sorry. Anywho, on to my creepy story. The cigar's burning pretty good, actually. So one night, out in Oregon, I had this fucking car. I love this car. It's not a fast car. It's nothing like, my girlfriend's 280 ZX, It's a Mitsubishi Montero Sport. I showed it on the last podcast, actually. But I'll show it again just because, the last podcast is not on YouTube, and it won't be ever. So, oh my gosh, I dropped my cigar because my table's so shaky. Now I have more ashes to clean up. God damn it. I'll show my car. Hold on. Display. Yeah. Very nice. I wonder if I can like... Oh my god, I can. Hold up. I want to shrink the webcam. Oh my god, I can't shrink it. Can I shrink it? Yes. Okay, here's what we're going to do, right? Boom. Boom. And then we're going to drag this up here. Oh my god, I can do reaction videos. This is cool. Oh my gosh. So there's my face cam and everything else. This is fucking badass. All right. So boom, boom. We'll show what my car looks like. 2004 Mitsubishi. If I could type Montero Sport. So this is my car. This is my fucking baby, dude. This is my baby. It's not red like that. It's red like this with chrome. There's not a whole lot of pictures of them. Oh, that's my car right there. Yeah. It's got a big light bar in the hood. LED light pods in here. It's got lights right here. They change colors, but I won't say what colors they change because plausible deniability. But that's my car right there. Like the exact same fucking thing. That's my baby, dude. I love that car so much. But anyways, so I'm racing through the streets of Oregon, right? I'm racing through the street. I don't race. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I've never raced in my life. But anyways, so I'm up in Oregon, and there's these really windy roads. I mean, like rally roads from the UK, right? This is the kind of shit they rally like Evos and like BMWs on, right? It's really curvy, like basically one lane, barely cement roads, right? I used to go out there every single day after school because I was bored and I didn't want to be home. So I would go out there and I would drive these roads as fast as I could, right? If only the actual laptop had better quality. No, I don't disagree with you, Gyro. No worries. But anyways, so I'd go out and race these roads, right, every day, and I'd see how fast I could go. And I got up to where I'd go like 80 miles an hour on these roads, right? Well, one night I'm bored as fuck, and I was graduated. I was over 18, so my curfew didn't exist. I could be out as late as I wanted, do whatever the fuck I wanted, as long as when I came in, I didn't wake anyone up because I wasn't being loud, be respectful. And I was living with my dad at the time. So I go out on these roads one night. It's like 3 o'clock in the fucking morning. It is nighttime. And I got my light bar on and all my fucking lights. The whole fucking road looks like daylight because it's like, And, God, I bet I could find a picture of my car, actually. Can I send it on Instagram? Is it going to show my password being typed? Because if so, I won't do that. .com. Oh, that's okay. You guys can't see my shit right now anyways, so I'll just type it in. I want to show my car. I like my car because it's not just some Mitsubishi Montero Sport. It's my Mitsubishi Montero Sport. Hold up. Let me double check you guys can't see my shit. Now, if you keep it on your webcam, we can't see your laptop screen. Wonderful. Make sure, because I gotta type this shit in. I don't know. I have so many fucking passwords, and I don't know which one goes to my Instagram. Oh, it worked. Wonderful. Yeah, we'll save that. All right, let's go. No, I'm not turning on notifications. Go fuck yourself. All right, let's check this out. Here's my tiny little webcam. So this is a Montero Sport. It's a really nice fucking Montero Sport. They do some great shit to that thing. That's some Land Rover. Some shit. Oh, memes. Memes. I love memes. Anyways, so let's go to profile. Yeah, this is my profile, guys. Follow me on Instagram, Frankenbeeshy. That's what they call it. Here's my 4Runner. This thing's a piece of shit, but it's all decorated for Christmas because my Montero's down right now for transmission problems. There's the Montero. Fucking nice car, dude. It's got that light bar. It all changes colors and stuff. Very nice. Oh, and my license plate. Oops. Here's my dirt bike. There's my gun, and another gun, and my car. Yeah, it's got little lights in here that change colors. It's got some stitches in the bumper. That's why we call it Frankenbeeshy, because it has stitches, like Frankenstein. And I can't smoke my cigar because it went out again. God damn it. Yeah, we went up to some old homestead. It's pretty cool. Anyways, my car, there she is. Oh, in her glory. The snowy glory. And my bike. Yeah. Yeah. So that's my car. That's it with one eye. There you go. There you go. That's nice. Yeah, it's a nice picture of my car. But anyway, so I'm up in Oregon. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm racing my car. I am doing completely legal things with my car. And there's this one corner. So you come down a fucking steep hill, right? Steep hill, and then a straight up 180 turn back up another hill, right? So it comes down into this valley, basically, turns and comes back up. So on the apex of this turn, there is this little tiny, like, it's the size of an outhouse, but it doesn't have a door. And it's right on the corner of a driveway. And I'm pretty sure, so these houses, I've seen them in Alaska, I've seen them all over the place in Oregon. I'm pretty sure they're there for kids to wait in when it's cold in the morning and it's raining for the bus. That's what I think. But anyways, this house always creeped me the fuck out. This corner has always been creepy. The woods in Oregon are like thick full of vines and blackberry bushes, and you can't even walk through them really. But anyways, like a jungle. So you come down through this little hairpin corner. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, or something like that. And oh my God, my cigar is blue. What the fuck? You guys see that? That is so cool. I'm sorry, I'm like a child, but I have ADD. Give me a break. That's fucking cool. But anyways, so I'm driving down through here, and sitting right next to the house is this fucking kid. Okay? And he's dressed in like a white turtleneck sweater and like corduroy jeans, and he's got black hair, right? And no, it doesn't. It's not blue in real life. It's red. I see this kid, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's like 3 o'clock in the fucking morning, and this kid's standing there with his arms by his side, and he's just looking down at the ground. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I stop. I don't know why. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. There's a kid standing next to the road. I shouldn't have stopped, but I stopped. I'm a decent guy most of the time. So I see this kid, and I stop my car, and I roll down my passenger side window because he's on the passenger side. And I'm like, hey, are you okay? Doesn't look up at me, doesn't say anything. He just keeps looking at the ground. I'm like, are you good? Like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Where are your parents? Nothing. I'm like, okay. I just keep asking him, like, hey, can you hear me? You okay? Do I need to call someone? Do you know your parents' numbers? Because the kid looked like he couldn't have been older than 8, And finally, I'm like, hey, can I give you a ride somewhere? And the second I said it, this fucking kid just shoots up and looks me right in the eyes, just looks me right in the eyes, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? Because this kid's eyes were black. And I'm not talking like his pupils were black, irises were black. No, his whole eyes, no white, no color, no nothing, just pitch black, looking me right in the fucking eyes. And once again, you get that fucking ting right in your heart, that ping, like, oh fuck, I fucked up. And I fucking just slammed on the gas. Instincts took over. I just slammed on the fucking gas and just fucking just shit and get up the hill, right? I wasn't asking another fucking question. Have you ever heard of this? This is a real thing. No. Like, I think I've heard of creepy kids at night, sure. But no, I haven't heard of this. What do you mean this is a real thing? It's a story, I'm telling you. It happened. But anyway, so I just slam on the brakes and I just fucking drive up the hill, right? They're called black-eyed children. They're siblings that have completely black eyes. Now I gotta look this up. Hold up. Ah! Black Eyed Peas? Did the Black Eyed Peas have children? There's a movie? That's awful. Ugh. God, yeah, he had like that haircut, the bowl haircut. I don't want to look at this shit. God, I don't want to see this shit anymore. Let them in? Don't let them in. What? God, I guess I'm going to fucking read this and look at more pictures and be fucking disturbed for the whole night. Ugh, God, that is fucking awful. I don't like looking at that. Are a type of humanoid cryptid, urban legend, or ghost story that has become very prominent ever since the 1998 and the rise of the internet culture. Stop making me look at this. This fucking website's going to give me viruses. What is going on? I was reading that. And the rise of the internet culture through the idea of sinister-like children's specters dates back to prehistory. Black-eyed children are said to resemble ghostly children of early teens or younger and have unnatural eyes that are pure black. They are regarded as sinister, terrifying, and at times even dangerous by those who encounter them, but no one is sure what they are. In most black-eyed children cases and legends, the children can be found around highways, streets, and residential homes and stalk passerby or residents of the property. Oh no. To cause psychological harm! Ah! Ah! No! I'm fucked. No particular members are known except for Josh Collins, his sister Emma Collins, and friends Joe and Remy, who died of foul play while getting lost in the woods while playing hide-and-go-seek on streets and highways. They have been reported to appear as lost children or hitchhikers, only to attack those who stop out of concern for them. Oh, fuck. Some argue black-eyed children are ghosts, others claim they're demons, vampires, or practitioners of evil magic. Some UFO lore depict them as human/alien hybrids, whilst others believe they are children playing rather cruel pranks on people. Maybe. No. Many also regard them as little more than myths and have grown popular due to internet forums and sites such as YouTube and Photo fucking Jesus. Various studies have been conducted on the history of black-eyed children sightings. It is currently unknown when the first sighting was reported or even where the legend originated. I don't want to look at the images. What the fuck? Are you serious? What the fuck? I'm not joking. This is a thing that was on the internet for a while. It's an actual thing. They either ask for rides with people or try to get into homes. Putty, oh my god, you've never seen this and just told a story about them. What the actual fuck? I don't know if it's real for sure, but I know what I fucking saw. What the fuck? Are you serious? Dude, that's fucking crazy. That is awful. Ugh. These are absolutely disgraceful. What the fuck? I wonder if I could find a picture of the one that, like, looks like the one I saw. Because this one here looks a lot like the one I saw. Yeah, he had a bowl cut. Pretty white fucking face. He had a turtleneck sweatshirt, though, not like a dress shirt. These are fucking awful, dude. What the fuck? I don't like looking at these at all. Ugh, this gives me flashbacks. Ugh, god damn. Okay. Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. Okay. I'm fucking terrified. I had never heard of them, no, which is surprising because I was really into creepypastas back in the day. Like, I've heard of creepy kids with black eyes, sure, but that matches up with my story pretty well. That's pretty creepy. Anyways, so I sped up the fucking hill as fast as my fucking car would go. And I looked down at the speedometer. I was going about 35, 40 miles an hour, which, I don't know, convert that into kilometers for you fucking Canadians out there. Because gyro's Canadian. Anyways, I'm going like 30, 40 miles an hour, right? And I look in my rear view mirror because I have light pods in my back bumper too. And I turn them on, and you use miles in Canada? Holy fuck, you guys are cool. Maybe you've said that before. I think you have said that before. I just forgot. So we're going 34 miles an hour. Anyone who's in not Americas, look that up. And I look in my fucking rearview mirror with my light pods on, and the fucking kid is running behind my car. And it's like keeping up with my fucking car at 34 miles an hour. And it wasn't until I reached like 60 around the next corner that I couldn't fucking see him. And I went about 60 to 80 miles an hour until I got home. And then I jumped out of my car, didn't lock it, did nothing, ran through the front door, slammed it, fucking locked it, and I sat in the corner of my bed, curled up in a ball like this for the rest of the fucking night. I didn't go to sleep. It was quite the story. And now the story is even worse now that I've read up on this. Gyro, you just fucking ruined everything for me. Psychological damage. Yeah, no kidding. Surprised I was able to play fucking DDLC. That's actually fucking scary. I agree. That's pretty fucking... Good thing I'm not going to sleep tonight. God. That's awful. Now I'm going to have to, like, watch a bunch of videos about this shit. And, like, really dive deep and hate myself. Considering the fact that you've never heard of them, it still was able to tell a story. Yeah, man. I'm not too pleased about it either. Who's texting me? Oh, Theo. Theo's asking about the accident. Oh, I turned the notifications off from my camera. Now my fucking mom's texting me. She's like, "Are you awake?" I wonder if something popped up on the camera. I should probably check. I hope not. If I'm already having a little bit of a fucking night, I hope there's nothing outside. Like, let's look at recent events. No. No, just the smoke from my chimney setting off a bunch of shit. Well, this is at 1:45 p.m. Oh, I locked my car. Okay. And then this is me going inside. Okay, so nothing's happened since. Okay. Dude, I tell you what, yeah, I have security cameras, and let me tell you, it's kind of creepy. Like, just checking out my security cameras whenever I want is honestly almost more of a curse than a blessing. Like, and everything sets it off, and it sends notifications to my phone, so I turn them off, even though I probably shouldn't. It's kind of a good thing they set it off. Like here, you got me coming through the door. Yeah, and all that. I can't. I'm so bad at this. Yeah, there's me going into the car and all that. Blo's playing FNAF. I know. My girlfriend keeps trying to get me to play VR FNAF, and it's like, I'm already living it, dude. You know, what's this? Is this me coming through the door too? Yeah, it's my mom leaving. Backyard camera. And the shitty thing is, like, the snow sets it off. So, like, I just get notifications from the snow. I get notifications from the fucking wind. A cat was in my driveway last night, and it said it was a vehicle. That was fun. Gyro, that would be fun to watch. That would be. I want to get a Quest 2, one of the new VRs. Mostly because I want to play VR chat with my buddies that are out of state. But that's when I have the money to throw around. This thing goes out so quick. That sucks. I hate relighting cigars. It tastes like shit. This is cool, though. This is a Saison by Oliva. It was the first harvest of 2011. So that means the first leaves they cut in 2011 was turned into this cigar. And then it sat for a while and just now was released in 2021. Yeah, so 10 years. 10 years, they let it dry and cure and, like, do its thing. Then they make it, and then they release it. So it takes 10 years for a cigar to go from a plant to a cigar. Pretty cool. Oculus Quest 2, yeah. I need to get one. Or something, you know, just some... I feel like VR would be pretty fun to watch. My blue cigar. It's pretty fucking cool. I love that. Look at that. Look how fucking blue it is. It's like purple. It's so cool. That's still crazy to me. Yeah. Not sleeping tonight. Even if I wanted to. But yeah, so that's probably the creepiest story I have. That's probably the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. And like I said, if that kid hadn't ran after my fucking car, I probably would have thought it was a fucking prank or some joke. But here's the cherry on top of that story, actually. So, 2 years later, maybe a year. I don't know. It was a while later. I was out with my girlfriend at the time, who is no longer my girlfriend. That was kind of a shit show. But my girlfriend at the time and I were out. And I was probably 19. She was a little younger. Legal, might I add. But she still had a curfew and all that, right? She was still in high school. She was a senior. And we were out one night when we weren't supposed to be. She snuck out. I didn't sneak out because I was old enough to not have to sneak out, but I was definitely not doing things I should have been doing. Hanging out with a girl who's sneaking out. But we snuck out, and it was snowy. And another car accident story. Here we go. It was snowy, and I hadn't gotten to really drive on snowy roads since I was in Alaska, and that was like 4 or 5 years ago. And I wanted to go out and drift in the snow. So we took the Montero out. We were out there drifting, having a good time. Every corner that was sharp enough, we pull the e-brake and slide all the way around it. We were doing a great job. I feel pretty confident in snow. And I knew these fucking roads, and I should have thought about it because we were coming from the other way into that little dip where that kid was. We were coming from the other way, and we were going around the big corner at the top of the hill, and then it's just the steepest fucking hill all the way down. And then a hairpin turn and back up. So we're coming down this fucking hill, and I should have known that I should have come into this hill going like 5 miles an hour because of how fucking steep it is. And I wasn't in four-wheel drive because we were drifting, so I should have been in four-wheel drive. But we come around this hill, and it's the second I crest that hill, I know I have way too much speed to do anything. And it's so fucking slick that every time I even like touch the brakes to pump the brakes, I just start sliding. And so I know we're fucked. We're going down this hill like a fucking rocket sled on rails, man. We are fucking flying. And I cannot fucking slow down. And we're just picking up speed as we, in this, 1 ton fucking vehicle, just slide down a fucking hill on ice. I'm like, yeah, no, this is it. So I fucking throw my arm around my girlfriend. I'm like, look, I was like, hold on, because we're going in that fucking ditch. And I didn't want to try to turn because I didn't want to go in the ditch sideways and fucking roll. I was just like, all right, I'm putting the fucking nose of this vehicle right in that fucking ditch. So I fucking put my arm around her and I held on. And I was like, all right, hold on. And we fucking slid right off that fucking road into the ditch and fucking boom, right? Now here's the best part. Like I said, it was on the corner where that kid was. About 5 feet from the front of my hood is that little house that the kid was standing next to. And I just fucking wrecked this car, and I can't get it out. I'm putting it in reverse, I'm putting it in four-wheel drive, and it's just, it's like the back wheels aren't even touching the ground, so it's not fucking moving. And I'm like, fuck this, dude, this is awful. And again, it's like 2 or 3 in the morning, and we are stuck on the corner that I dread even driving past. And she knew the story. I had told her the story, so she's flipping out too. Let's see. Looks like a purple infinity stone. Fuck yeah, it does. And look at that, man. It is almost out. God damn it. It's still smoking. Beautiful. Jair also says, I thought you were just fucking around at first, but the fact that you never even heard of them before, no, never. Don't tell me that kid was there again. No. Thankfully, when we wrecked, there was no kids to be seen. Thank fucking God. It was awful. We were the only kids out there, thankfully. So I wrecked the car, and I get out, I'm taking blankets I have in my car, logs and shit, and shoving them under the tires, trying to get any fucking traction, and it's just not fucking happening, right? And so we're sitting out there. I called the cops. I was like, hey, is there any way you guys can come pull me out of the ditch? And they're like, well, unfortunately, we can't use our squad cars unless it's an emergency. And I was like, well, if you leave me out here in the cold, it's going to be a fucking emergency. We're out miles from our houses. I was really just worried about getting my fucking girlfriend home before her parents woke up. I called everyone. I called my parents. Everyone's asleep. No one's coming. And so I'm like, we're fucked. And trying to figure out what the fuck to do. I tried everything to get the car out. It wasn't happening. So I'm like, okay, I got to use an old Alaskan trick and go knock on doors. When there's a house by, you knock on doors. And my last ditch effort was to fucking walk home if I had to, which would not have been a good idea. So after about an hour or two trying to figure out how to get this fucking car out, the sun's starting to come up. So I'm like, all right, I'm walking up the driveway with this creepy little fucking house where the kid was, and I'm knocking on a door. So we walk up this driveway, and there are 3 fucking houses out there. They're like, people in Oregon that don't live in the city are pretty rich. So there was 3 houses on the property. They had the main house, must have been their kid's house, and then maybe like the garage. It was a pretty cool setup. So I walk up to the first house I see, the one with the freshest car tracks going to it. Knock on the door. No one's coming. There's just this dog or a cat sitting at the top of the stairs. I can see this just looking down at me like, what the fuck? Who are you? You stupid bitch. Get the fuck out of here. I don't fucking know you. This is my house. Get the fuck out of here. They ain't gonna come for you. And so I leave. The cat was very rude. 1 out of 10 on Yelp for that cat. So anyways, I walk to the other house. This is the bigger house, so I figured there's gonna be someone in there. And I feel awful. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm knocking on some random dude's door. I knock on the door, and I'm just about to give up. Just like, fuck, man, what do I do? And all of a sudden, some lights start coming on. Like, okay. And this guy that I can only describe with pictures, I got to show you what this guy looked like. I was a little scared. Like, when I seen him, I was like, all right, this can go one of 2 ways. We're going to get shot, assaulted in a non-consensual way, or he's just going to be cool. And obviously I was hoping for the latter. But let me just show you. If anyone has ever seen The End of the Fucking World, you'll know. Probably shouldn't even type that in on Twitch. The End of the Fucking World. Where is he? God damn it. He looked like this guy. He looked just like this guy, okay? Now, if you've seen The End of the Fucking World, you'll know why I didn't like seeing that guy. He scared me a little bit. But I was out of options. Okay? So I see this guy. He's at the top of there's a big front room and then a landing above the front room. It's like a big log cabin. And I see the lights come on. He comes out. He's in his boxers. And he looks down and he sees us. He's got the big mustache. He looked like a professor from a college. I was like, oh, man, this is going to go one of 2 ways, And so, I see him. He looks at us and I kind of wave, like, hey, here, sorry. And he sounded like Jimmy Falcone when you were talking like the cat. Hey, the cat was Jimmy Falcone, or, Joe Pesci or something, But anyways, so he sees us. He looks at us. He goes, 1 second. And then he walks back to his room. And I'm like, here we go, He comes back. He's all dressed. He's all dressed in snow-geared shit. And he opens the door. And he's like, before I can even get a word out, he's like, come in. And I'm like, okay. He's like, are you guys okay? Are you cold? Do you need anything to drink? And I'm like, okay, this guy's really cool. Like, thank God. He's not like, what the fuck are you doing on my fucking porch? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. You woke me up and I was snizzling the wife, man. What the fuck, man? No, he's just like, are you guys cold? Do you need, can I warm you up and whatever? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, dude, you're a fucking savior. You know that? So I'm like, hey, my car is in the ditch at the end of your driveway. I've called everyone. This was my last resort. I really didn't want to bother you guys, but I really appreciate you letting us in and warming us up. Do you maybe have anything that could pull it out? Maybe a truck? And he's like, oh, I got plenty of stuff that could pull it out. And I'm like, that's what I want to hear. This guy's cool. He's like, yeah, you guys definitely aren't the first people to crash on that corner. It happens all the time, no worries, we'll get you pulled out. And I was like, fucking Jesus, man, you're a fucking savior. You are the next Messiah. You are the next coming of Jesus Christ, okay? So he tells my girlfriend, he's like, hey, you stay in here, you stay warm. Me and your boyfriend are going to get this pulled out. I was like, you got my number. Call me if anything happens, you get kidnapped. Oops. So this guy goes and he gets a fucking tractor, like a backhoe, dude. Like he's got the big, I don't know. He's got the excavator on the back and the bulldozer on the front, whatever you call that. I don't know. I should know because I'm a country guy, but he gets a tractor. And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. So he gets this tractor. It's got chains on the tires and shit. I'm like, oh, dude, if we don't get this fucking thing pulled out from this guy, we're fucked. So he comes. and pulls this fucking thing out, right? He hooks it up, pulls me out of the ditch, gives me instructions on how to get up the hill and get home. And the whole time I was in fucking 4-wheel drive. I did not take that thing out. I was like, 4-wheel drive all the way home. So we get this thing home, and yeah, man, it was a crazy thing. But that was the cherry on top of that story. Is like after that shit with the kid, like a year or two later, I wreck on the same corner, and the whole time I'm just waiting for some fucking bastard to come walking out of the woods, you know? It was like the most paranoid I've ever been in my life. And then I had the stress of like, oh man, what if her parents find out we were out, you know? Like, oh, this is going to be interesting, you know? Like, it wouldn't have been a big deal. Like I said, it was legal. There's nothing they could have done legally. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure assisting a minor in sneaking out could have been a problem. Because she was 17. So, who knows? He apparently has a sister, that kid. That kid has a sister. Hopefully I don't ever fucking meet any of them again. That shit was awful. I told that fucking girl that story, and then she kept like telling me that she was seeing the kid around town, but she was a pathological liar, so I don't really know that I believe any of that. She's probably gonna watch my streams eventually if like she finds out through a friend of a friend that I stream. She's definitely gonna watch these streams. In which case, if you're watching this, you know, you were a good friend, but you were a pathological liar and not a good girlfriend. Well, the black-eyed child, male, has a sister. That's interesting. That's not to speak completely awfully of that girl. Like I said, she was a great friend. We had some really good times, even during our relationship. It was a very complicated relationship. It started off, I feel awful about it. We were kind of messing around, and she had a boyfriend, but her boyfriend was in college and like never saw her. So it was like kind of a boyfriend, and I was kind of a boyfriend, and I felt really bad about it. And I kept just telling her, I'm like, look, I'm not going to continue this shit until you break up with him. And then I would. And then she finally broke up with him and was dating me. And then I found out that they were still seeing each other when he was in town and fucking around and shit. And then I broke up with her, and that was it. I was done. I was like, nope, we're done. Like, look, you could fuck someone else over, and I'm gonna feel bad about it. You fuck me over, I'm not gonna put up with that shit. And there's no fucking way he didn't know. There's no way he didn't know. Like, she would sneak out with me and tell him that she was sneaking out with me. He even showed up that night at the very end, as I was getting out of the ditch. He showed up to help us, give her a ride. I don't know. Not a word to me about it. Didn't say anything to me about it. Didn't say, hey, why are you out with my girlfriend at 3 o'clock in the morning? You know. He was either really fucking stupid or knew what was going on and just didn't give a fuck because she belonged to the streets. You know? Like, I have no idea what the answer is. That guy, I could never fucking understand him, dude. But I felt bad about it. Maybe he was okay with Maybe he was okay with relationships like that, and he just didn't have the balls to say it. Maybe he was into that kind of thing. I don't know. I felt bad about it though. I felt really bad about it. I like hated myself for a while because I fucking hate cheaters, and here I was like helping someone cheat, I guess. I don't know. It was awful. It was an awful relationship. Like I said, she was a good friend of mine. We'd known each other for fucking years, but that was not meant to be. We'll just put it that way. Not meant to be. That's probably one of the worst relationships I've been in. I was fucking sleeping, but I gotta get up in 15 minutes. Oh, man. You gotta get up in 15 minutes, Gyro? That's fucking rough. And it went out already. God damn it. I was just fucking puffing on it. Fuck. I'm losing it, dude. And, like, the thing is with, like, relighting cigars, it makes your stomach sick. Like you get more nicotine or something because it makes you nick sick so quick, and it's like fuck, ugh, it's awful. Like this is such a good cigar, but I should have known if I was live streaming, I wasn't gonna be able to smoke a cigar and tend to a cigar enough to keep it lit while I was rambling. Even when I'm like talking to my girlfriend and smoking a cigar, my cigar will go out because I'm just fucking talking and talking and talking. Because for some reason my girlfriend loves to hear me fucking talk. Because I'll sit there and ramble and not realize I'm rambling because she won't fucking say anything. And then I'll be like, fuck, I've been rambling for 15 minutes. I'm so sorry. Like, can you contribute to the conversation too? She'd be like, no, I like hearing you talk. Keep talking. Keep telling me about stuff. I'm like, God damn it. No. I want to have a conversation. I don't want to just sit here and ramble. Same with my girlfriend. She says she likes my voice, and I don't understand it. A lot of people say they like my voice, and I definitely don't understand that. I don't know. It's not like deep, but it's not like light. It's not high. It's not a high voice, but it's not a deep voice either. You know. I wish I had like a super deep voice, you know, where I could sit here and talk about things all day in my super deep, loving voice. But no, it's just like this fucking in between weird voice, you know. I don't like it. I don't like it, but it works because my voice is comforting. Yeah. As long as you guys think so, you know. I was looking into it because I really wanted to read books for my YouTube channel. I wanted to smoke cigars and read books. That was gonna be like my whole thing, right? And I've been planning to do that for a while. But then I looked into it and like the copyright for reading a book. Apparently, if you read a book out loud, right, in a public setting, it's technically copyright because it's like copywriting an audiobook, which sucks because I really wanted to do that. But I think there's some books I probably could read aloud, like really old ones, but not ones that still make money, which is like what I wanted to read. I wanted to read Scythe. I wanted to read 1984 and a bunch of the old other books, but they still make so much money that like the copyright's taken really seriously. And especially on YouTube, I'd get copyright striked so fucking quick. You can listen to me rant for a very long time. Well, I appreciate that, Gyro, because this whole stream, you've been the only one that's listened to me rant, so I appreciate it. And I like streams like this. I like ranting. It's hard for me to rant when I'm playing games, especially like the games that I play on my channel because they're so hard. So I have to focus. Whereas like DDLC, I probably could have ranted over quite a bit, but I had to read the fucking story, you know, which isn't a bad thing. I really enjoyed the DDLC playthrough. I actually want to find more games like that to play rather than like games like Dishonored because I just fucking suck at them. So it's like, hey, watch this guy who sucks at games play this fucking game that takes a lot of skill and end up just giving up and getting pissed off, you know, like I love Dishonored, but it's not a game that I've enjoyed streaming so far. And part of it's because I don't like Dishonored 2. I'm not interested in the story. I'm not captivated by it. It's like they took the same story from Dishonored 1 and they're like, oh, guess what? You get to be an assassin and go save Emily again. Or I guess if you were Emily, you'd save Corvo. But like, it's like they took the same game and they're like, oh, wow, that did really well. It's like a critically acclaimed game. Let's add more powers and a different character to it and remake the fucking game. Like, really? You should play Corpse Party, Book of Shadows. That sounds interesting. Sounds a lot like DDLC. The Markov book, the Portrait of Markov, and the Corpse Party. Yeah, sounds like a reference. It's not, but it sounds like it. It's a bit more gruesome. Yeah, I'm sure. It sounds like it. Yeah. Most important thing when you relight a cigar is to blow through it and try to purge it a little bit. But it's still going to taste like shit. That's why we have our pipe. with creme brulee tobacco, and it's so good. God damn. Ugh. You guys want some recommendations for tobacco? I can give you recommendations for tobacco. Let me tell you. Oliva's very good cigars, and Zeal House Brand from Zeal Cigars. So good for pipe tobacco and cigars. They make some really good cigars too. I think my favorite was probably. It's a tough one. The Irish Cream is really good from Smoked Pipe instead. I might, but that cigar is expensive. I want to finish that cigar. Trying to think of the name of the cigar I really like from there. It's been so long since I smoked any cigars from Zeal, I've forgotten the name of their house brand that I really liked. The Doc Holliday series is really good. They got a lot of really good Doc Holliday cigars based off of, obviously, Doc Holliday from Tombstone. Fucking great. There's one that's really fucking popular, and I can't think of the name of it. I don't know. Cocoa Chemist is good, too. Tastes like chocolate. Tastes like a chocolate cupcake. Fucking great. I don't know. God, I haven't been to that cigar. I used to go to the actual cigar store in Phoenix and smoke there all the time. I can't remember the name of the fucking cigars I used to smoke. Gurkha Black Dragon cigars. Yes. Gurkha makes really good cigars. It's definitely a more like high end. Yeah, $115,000 per box of the Black Dragons. Yes. I'm pretty sure, and don't quote me on this, I'm pretty sure the Black Dragon cigars is what Theodore was talking about. That they take the tobacco and they cure it using the heat of a volcano, and then they make the cigars. And they sold out quick because they were so sought after. And I'm pretty sure those are the Gurkha Black Dragons. Those things were fucking crazy. I've never smoked one. The most expensive cigar I've ever smoked was a CAO Vision. Okay, and I think they ran about 110 a stick, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not an aficionado. But they were expensive, and they were very limited for a while. They only came out with like 250 boxes of them. Again, don't quote me on that. But they were really good. I smoked one of those. And then I smoked a Unicorn, which is about $100 a stick. Really good as well. I can't remember who makes Unicorns. It's not CAO, I don't think. But they're good. Those are Mafia cigars. Well, actually, the Mafia smoked pretty shit cigars. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, they didn't smoke, like, really cheap cigars, but they definitely smoked, like, in today's standards, not that great of cigars. What's $360 per box? Gyro's our research guy right now. The CAO Visions? Yeah. Yeah, they were fucking pricey. I remember I was at a poker game one time. They had a big poker event at Zeal Cigars, and we all went there, and they were raising a bunch of money for one of the friends of the cigar shop. His son was autistic, so they were raising a bunch of money to get him a dog, like a service dog. And these service dogs are like really specially trained for kids with autism, right? And the fucking dog was going to be like $25,000, if that, like probably more than that. And so they did a big fundraiser where we paid $100 each for entry into this poker game, and it was hosted by Zeal Cigars. So they provided all the cigars and all the raffle and all that. There was a raffle and all that. And I bought me and my dad a ticket when my dad was down in Arizona, and we went to this poker game together. It was fucking badass. We all got to hang, me and my dad got to bond and hang out at a poker game and smoke cigars and whatever. It was a fucking great time. And definitely one of like the more like special memories I hold of my dad, especially because I paid for it. Like I went out of my way to take my dad out to a poker game. It was a good time. But anyways, they were raffling off this box of CAO Visions. And it was a fancy fucking box, like hard fucking wood with like a nice varnish on it. and then they had leather interior with an LED light that shined down from the inside of the box. It was so fucking cool. And there's this guy that was also a friend of mine from the cigar shop. And this guy, dude, he was so cool. He let me ride for 2 weeks. I gave him my dirt bike. He didn't even ride it. I just kept it at his house. And he let me borrow this Suzuki Boulevard 1100cc motorcycle. It was the first cruiser I'd ever ridden in my entire life, and it was 1100 cc's, and I was fucking terrified. But I kept it for about a week or two, and he didn't give a fuck what I did with it as long as I didn't lay it over. I rode that thing for 2 weeks, and I loved it. Fell in love with it, dude. It was like my dream bike after that. And I ended up with my bike now, which is a Honda VTX 1800, which was bigger than that. But I would have ended up with a Boulevard if that thing hadn't come along at such a good price. And I love it. It's a fucking great bike. I couldn't ask for better for what I paid for it. And only had 10,000 miles with a bunch of aftermarket shit on it. Great bike. But that Boulevard is what made me change my mind about what kind of bike I wanted. Because I was looking for like a sport touring kind of bike, kind of like a dirt bike, but with the power of a sport bike. And I ended up buying a cruiser. Plan on buying a bike when I'm older. You better buy a bike, Gyro. We better go riding together when you get a bike too. Hit me up when you're looking to buy a bike. I'll help you find one and give you some advice on what you should look for as a first bike. But anyways, this guy that let me borrow that bike, he was the luckiest person I've ever fucking known in my entire life. This guy, if he put in raffles, if he put in for some kind of contest, some kind of lottery, he'd fucking win. This guy was just the luckiest guy I'd ever known. Well, he put in for the raffle for that Vision cigar box, won it. We're all sitting there, we're bullshitting. We all put in for this box because it was like $15 for an entry, and it was a $380 box, you know? So we all put in for it, and he put in one ticket, one $15 ticket. I put in 5 tickets to get this fucking box. He puts in one ticket, wins the Vision cigar box. We're all sitting there joking. We're like, oh, yeah, fucking this, so-and-so is going to win it. Of course he is. And he's like, nah, I'm not that lucky. And we're like, dude, you won like, I don't know, it was like 25 grand off of a fucking lottery ticket the other day, and he had never bought a lottery ticket in his life. I was like, no, you're going to win it. Sure as shit, wins this Vision cigar box. I'm like, God damn, dude, what the fuck? Yeah, so he paid $15 for $380 worth of cigar, and then he handed them out. He's just like, oh, you try one out. And that's when I tried a Vision out. And then I had another friend. He was actually my boss that I met at the cigar shop when I did pools. He was my boss. He let me try one because he would always be like, go into the humidor and get whatever you want. And so I come back with like the cheapest cigar I could find, a little, cigarillo. He's like, fuck no. And then he'd pick me up and drag me into the humidor, and he'd find like some expensive high-end cigar and hand it to me. And he's like, if you're going to smoke in my house, you're going to smoke right. And I was like, okay, little 19-year-old kid, just like, I don't know, man. I don't want to ruin this cigar, He was a great guy. I don't want a car, I just want a bike. Well, Gyro, if you plan on living in Canada for the rest of your life, you should get a car and a bike, because you can't ride a bike in the winter. Your dream bike is a H2R? For sure, dude. Kawasaki sport bikes, the H2Rs are fucking insane. You want to talk about a bike that's even crazier is a Hayabusa. I would say a Hayabusa is crazier than an H2R, but an H2R for like the weight and the size of the bike is fucking great. It still looks like a small, nice bike, whereas a Hayabusa is like obtuse, very obese-looking bike. But fuck, dude, they're turbocharged. I mean, there's not too many turbocharged bikes in the world. That shit's crazy. It's really expensive, but I really love the way it looks. Yeah, man, if you're going to get a bike, I would say for your first bike, don't get your dream bike. Get something to learn on, something you can lay over plenty. I used to say when I started riding that if you went on a bike ride and you didn't lay it over, granted I was talking about dirt biking, if you went dirt biking and you didn't lay it over, you didn't go dirt biking. You went out and putted around. You didn't go dirt biking. So get a bike you can lay over a few times. I actually laid over my cruiser, which really sucks. It was my first street crash. I had it for like 3 weeks, and it was a heavy bike, 1,800 cc's. I tell you what, I'll show you the bike I got. You said you're moving? Good. They are chunky. You got to go at 7? Okay, hold on. Let me show you what bike I got. All right. Honda VTX. No, not a VTW. VTX 1800 specs. Yes, I'll turn my shit on so you can see it. Stick around for the bike. All right. So check this shit out. So my first cruiser, the dry weight is 319 kilograms or 714 fucking pounds for me, this skinny little guy. You know, I'm holding this thing up all the time. 1800 cc's of raw badass. Yeah, I mean, it's a big boy bike. You know, mine's all kitted out. It's got a bunch of fancy shit on it. It's got a bunch of aftermarket shit on it, but that's the bike I own. Yeah, this one looks more like it. It's got the backrest, and then I got another backrest right here. Aftermarket pipes, hard saddlebags instead of leather, and it's got the big windscreen. It's fucking great, dude. But for my first cruiser, that was a lot. But I laid that over about 2 weeks after I got it. And the saddlebags, because they were hard saddlebags, saved it. But definitely for your first road bike, get something small. Not too small, not something you're going to grow out of. But get something you can handle, learn to ride the bike, learn to respect the power, and then get an H2R. So I'd start with like an R3 maybe. R3s are great. You know, they got enough power to have fun with, but not so much you're going to fucking wheelie over every time you hit the throttle. And if not an R3, get like an R6. Or like a 600 or a 300. In Ninja, if you want to get a Ninja, get a 300 or a 600. I think they make 350s and 650s though. But the R3 is great. The R3, light, fucking great bike. If you lay it over, you can pick it up on your own. It's a great fucking bike. I'd start out with that and then move on to an H2R. An H2R. The H2Rs are fun, but definitely learn to ride and respect the bike like a sport bike first. That way you don't lay over your dream bike and have to fucking pay whatever for it to make it look nice again. You lay over the R3 you plan on getting rid of anyways. If it's just cosmetic damage, who gives a fuck? Whatever. You can still sell it for a decent price, you know? You don't have to replace it or repair it. As long as it still runs and drives, fucking drive it, you know? Who cares if the plastics are all beat up, you know? So start out with a cheap bike, learn to ride. Yeah, Yamaha R3 and the Yamaha R6 are fucking great. And then if you really like the Yamahas and the Rs, you should get an R1 when you plan on upgrading. Because R1s are damn near as good as H2Rs, and they fucking rip. Holy shit, those things fucking rip. Those are insane bikes. How long have we been streaming for, Gyro? I can't see on here, which is stupid. Like, look at the R6. The R6s are beautiful. I love R6s. I'll tell you what, to anyone who doesn't know what these bikes look like, we'll go ahead and look them up. About 2 hours? That's not too bad. Let's see. I'll look up an R6. Yamaha R6. Look at these beautiful bikes. You know, my favorite part about the R6 actually is these fins on the back seat. I've had a few friends with R6s, and they are just gorgeous bikes. The first sport bike I ever rode, actually, was a FZ1. It was a 1000. It was a little scary riding this with my first bike. Yeah, it was more like this. Little naked, didn't have the front fairings. It was a beautiful bike. And it was nice for my first sport bike because I've rode dirt bikes my whole life. So having something that sits up a little more straight was pretty nice. That was my buddy's. He had one of those, and that thing was fucking great. 2 hours. 2 hours is good. Well, Gyro, I'll let you out of here. Get the fuck out of here. My favorite mod, and enjoy your night, dude. You know, or your day, I guess. I guess you're going to school and stuff. I think my girlfriend actually has a dirt bike. Dude, dirt bikes are great. I'll tell you what, I'll show you my dirt bike while we're at it before you go. It is a 1993 XR250. It's actually, I have 3 of these. One's a 350. This is the bike that's taken apart in my fucking kitchen right now. Really nice fucking bike. Mine has a metal gas tank instead of these plastic ones. Definitely looks a lot more beat up than this. But God, they're such great bikes. I have two. One's restored. One's like, oh, that's a metal gas tank. Yep, just like that. One's restored. Has brand new plastics and all that. Metal gas tank. That one in the kitchen has a plastic gas tank and is the opposite of restored. It is rough. That's why it's being rebuilt. The other one has like 5 hours on the engine when I bought it, and I bought it for $1,500, which was a fucking steal. That one, when I get it all redone, I could probably sell it for four grand, but I won't. I won't sell my XRs. The plan is actually eventually to put the 350 engine in that 250 frame, and then take the 250 and put it on a tiny little Yamaha from 1981 that I have, turn it into like a dirt track fucking bike. That thing's gonna rip like hell, dude. Like a little flat track scrambler. Gotta head off. Gotta get ready for school. Enjoyed watching the stream. All stories were actually fun. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for coming by, Gyro. It's always a pleasure to have you. All shooketh from the Black Eyed Children story. Yeah, stop reminding me, man. I gotta go out on the road here soon and fucking tow that fucking Datsun out of there. Stop reminding me. But I do appreciate it, man. Take it easy. I hope you have a good night or a good day. Enjoy the rest of my stream. I will continue my stream for a little longer. I'll be talking to myself, but whatever. But yeah, thanks for coming by, man. Take it easy. Catch you on the flip side. Peace. Oh, yep. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's been a long day. It's been a crazy day. Lots of crazy stories. I have lots of crazy stories to tell, for sure. I can't see how many viewers I have on Twitch from my OBD, whatever. My OBS. I have one viewer, and that is me. But that's okay, you know? Like I said, I'm not doing this whole fucking Twitch thing because I want to get popular or famous or, you know, even if I did want to, it's such a far shot, such a far cry, you know. I don't make mainstream content. I don't do that shit. I'm not good at games. I'm not any of that. I don't have like a super flamboyant, rambunctious personality. I'm just doing it because I enjoy it. You know, it's fun. Having the Discord, talking to people, you know, just being myself and recording these videos. It's fun. You know, I enjoy it. I'll be honest, later on, you know, when I become a cop and all that, I'm not sure how they're going to feel about me streaming and shit. Comes down to that, you know, I'm going to have to choose my career over this, unfortunately. Just a heads up, not that anyone really gives them any fucks, but that is how it is. But otherwise, you know, I'll probably keep streaming, you know, even if it's just whatever. I don't really see myself stopping for any reason in the future other than that. It's fun, you know, I really do enjoy it. I never understood quite why people did it other than monetary gain. And I was like, you know, why do people even try? You know, it's like a 1 in fucking billion chance that you fucking make it. You know, that you make money off of it enough to actually be worth doing it for that. But I get it now. You know, it's just fun. I enjoy doing it. It is what it is, you know? I don't know. Like, as a kid growing up when I did, I feel like a lot of kids growing up, they just dream of being a YouTuber, being a streamer. You know, that's most kids back in the day, you know, growing up in our parents' time, wanted to be a movie star or a rock star or whatever. And I feel like that's the equivalent of being a streamer or a YouTuber these days, you know? Like, we grow up idolizing these YouTubers and these streamers and all these, you know, social media icons. And to actually be able to do it, I feel like it's just, it's such a cool thing to be able to do it, I just, as a kid, you never realized just how possible it is. And my little brother actually started streaming long before I did. He's been on Twitch for a long time. We might end up doing some collabs with him later on down the line, probably. He's been streaming for a long time, and he's kind of like somehow, it's kind of weird to say, but he like inspired me to really try it, because I saw him doing it, and he actually has enough of a following on Twitch that he has followers, like he gets money from it, whereas I'm like, sure, I stream, but like I don't make money off of it or any of that, but like he's good at it. He has a personality for it. He's always kind of inspired me because he followed the dream that we had as kids. Me and him always dreamed of starting a YouTube channel and doing gaming and shit like that. And he followed that dream, whereas I kind of strayed off and went towards what I saw as more realistic goals. But God, props to him. Props to him for doing that. He's a fucking legend. In my eyes, anyways. Me and him have always been pretty close. We've definitely had those times in life, where like one becomes a teenager and one is, not a teenager, so you don't really see eye to eye, and you argue and bicker. But we've always been pretty close. Living up in Alaska, there was 5 other kids in town you could hang out with. So having him there with me was, we were like best friends throughout my whole life. And yeah, he's a fucking legend. But I won't shout him out just in case he doesn't want me to. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to be associated with me. We don't talk much anymore because I'm out of the house and whatever, and he's still in the house. But, I still consider him like one of my best friends. He's a legend. But yeah, he definitely followed the dream, and I kind of decided not to. Here I am. I'm not like super hard pursuing the dream at the moment. If I get like a little more traction and things get a little more serious, I'll definitely become a little more serious about the channel. But as of right now, it's just for fun. If I can make some money off of it, it'll definitely become kind of a side job. But I don't want it to become too much of a side job that I actually like dread doing it like a real job. I want it to stay kind of, fun. Yeah, so just a little background on me and my little brother. We have some crazy stories too. Me and him used to get into a lot of fucking trouble. A lot of trouble. We definitely got our ass whooped a few times for the shit we did. Man. We used to fucking... Yeah. We got into some trouble. We did some crazy shit for sure. When they're the only two people that you have to entertain each other. You entertain each other, and when kids are bored, they get into trouble. But we stayed out of like legitimate trouble for the most part. I feel like we were good enough kids that we didn't fuck around with shit that would get us arrested or any of that. We were just assholes, We were good kids though. All things considered, we stayed out of shit pretty well. I mean, he's a fucking grade A, star student, gets great grades, fucking absolutely great academically. He's really going places. Middle of the road kind of guy. I fucked off a lot in high school, almost failed, and then barely scraped by. I try to like stay in the average and just stay out of people's eyes, or at least I did when I was a kid. Nowadays, I'm trying to be a little better, about overachieving and all that. Whereas he was always, I feel like it's because he felt like he had to do better than me, which really wasn't that fucking hard. But he was like, if I'm gonna do better than him, then I'm gonna really fucking do better than him. I'm gonna shine, and he did. He was everything a parent could have asked for, still is. Good kid. right, now that I'm done getting all sappy about my little brother, I have another little brother. I haven't talked about him at all, but he's a good kid too. I am gonna whoop his ass when I get back to fucking where they are. I'm gonna see him this June because I'm headed up to their place to visit because my little brother's graduating, so I'm going up there for the graduation. And my other little brother, the youngest, he got caught vaping in the bathroom of school. He's like 11, you know, he's in like fucking what, 5th grade, and he's vaping in the bathroom. I'm gonna whoop his ass. I'm gonna whoop his ass. Now, granted, Twitch, I'm not gonna abuse my brother. I'm not gonna beat him. But I am gonna, you know, be a big brother, you know, grab him by the fucking head. Cut that shit out. Give him a little nugget, you know. Cut that shit out, you know. And it's shitty because, like, I feel like I can't bitch him out because I smoke cigars. So I've been thinking a while. I'm like, man, what am I gonna say to him, you know? Because, like, what card should I play? Because I know no one else in his life is gonna whoop his ass. Dad won't do it, you know. Mom wouldn't do it. My other little brother, his older brother, probably just doesn't, you know, care. I mean, I'm sure he cares, but he's just like, you know, it's not his job to discipline. My stepmom's not going to do it because if she did, I'd fucking lose it. So should I be the one to kick his ass? Probably not, you know. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I feel like maybe I should take the cool older brother approach. Be like, look, I know I smoke. I know I do things that, you know, I would tell you not to do. And I shouldn't be a hypocrite. But it should be known that I did not touch a single thing. No alcohol, no drugs. I did drink a little bit in high school, but we won't talk about that. Alcohol is okay in moderation. After 16. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. I definitely didn't vape. I only started smoking cigars on my 18th birthday after I had graduated high school. And I would tell them, like, when you're 18, you can do pretty much whatever you want. No one can stop you. That doesn't mean you should, but you can. Do not fucking smoke anything in high school. Don't smoke. Don't get into that crowd. Don't fuck around with that shit. Stay out of it. It's only going to lead you to, you know, bad places in life. Or at least places that it's really hard to get out of. You know, give yourself the best chance at life that you can. Stay out of that shit. And then when you turn 18, if you want to try a cigar, I'll smoke a cigar with you. If you want to drink a little bit, I'll drink a little bit with you. But stay out of vaping. Stay out of cigarettes. Stay out of, obviously, all the other shit. You know, just set yourself up for the best possible solutions in life. You know, the best possible situations. Don't set yourself up to fail. You know, it's not the way to go about it. You know, I think that's the approach I'm going to take. I've been thinking about it for a while, but I think that's the approach I'm going to go for because just vaping in 5th grade. Come on, man. Come on. I know there's other little fucking assholes that do it, but not my little asshole. You're not raised in the fucking hood. You're not fucking gang. You're not set up to fail already. Don't put yourself in that position. You're a middle ground. You're not a rich kid that's going to college right off the bat. You're not some genius, sure. But you're also not some fucking hoodlum that doesn't give a fuck about school and treats everything like it's stupid. And you're not a kid that needs to work to have a shot. You're right in the middle. You have a shot at whatever you want, whether you want to go up or down. Don't go down, you know, at least stay middle ground, and then, you know, work your way up from there. You're already above here, you know, where a lot of kids have to start down here. You're here. Go up. Don't go down. You know, I don't know. It's hard to explain it because, like, I feel like I shouldn't have to explain to a fucking 5th grader that vaping is bad. You know, doing shit in the bathroom that you know you're not supposed to do, probably shouldn't do. You know, like, I fifth grade, dude. Fuck. I was just starting to worry about girls. There was no vaping. You know, there was the fucking weird kids that smoked cigarettes in like seventh grade that you knew because we had a K through 12 school. But you know, vaping wasn't even a thing when I was a fucking kid. And that's my philosophy with like tobacco. People have smoked tobacco for centuries. You know, it's been a thing for a very, very long time. And now there's all these studies on it and shit that have been going on since like the 60s. We know pretty well what the effects of tobacco are. It's pretty well known that if you smoke this shit and you inhale this shit, you're probably going to get lung cancer. If you don't inhale it, you run the risk of getting throat and mouth cancer. Those are the withdrawals. That's the shit that could fuck you up. And obviously, it's addictive because of nicotine. With vapes, fuck, they've been around for less than 15 years. You know? We still don't know what the fuck the long-term effects are. Why the fuck would I put anything on the line for nicotine out of something I have no idea what the effects are? You know, like no one fucking knows. Whether it's popcorn lung or some form of cancer or whatever. My philosophy generally is when it comes to pot, weed, or pot, tobacco, vaping, you know, meth, whatever. If you're inhaling anything other than fresh fucking air into your lungs, it's probably not good for you. It's probably not going to help you. And it's probably going to hurt your lungs in one way or another, you know? If you're breathing shit in that isn't air, you're gonna fuck something up, you know? Like, we are very, very delicate creatures. When it comes to the animal kingdom, and you think about humans, we don't have claws, we don't have sharp teeth, we can't run very fast, you know, we don't have fur to protect us from the cold. Like, we are literally the weakest animal, like, in the world when it comes to natural defenses. The only reason we've made it this long, the only reason that we're here today and on top of the food chain is because of what's in here. That's about it. Now, granted, we do have high endurance compared to most animals. That's how most humans would hunt back in the day, is we couldn't run as fast as a fucking deer, but we could track that fucking thing until it got tired, and then we'd kill it with a spear or bow and arrow or whatever. You know, we had longer endurance and we could run longer distances. Granted, we couldn't run very fast, but if we kept track of that deer for so long, it would get tired, and then we could just walk right up to it and kill it. That's about the only natural defense we have. You know, like, our lungs are super fucking fragile. Not as fragile as some other animals, but like everything else, we are super prone to diseases, to, you know, breathing in the wrong shit. You know, we get too cold, we die. We get too hot, we die. You know, like, without the without the modern accommodations that we have today, there's a lot of places in the world we could not fucking live. Like, it's pretty baffling that people survived as long as they did in Alaska and shit like that without modern heating and shit like that, you know? And it was harsh. A lot of people died. You know, Darwinism was quite the thing up there, you know? You know, if you weren't the strongest, you didn't survive. You weren't the smartest, you didn't survive. And it's because we have, you know, brains that can learn so easily and take in so much information and remember so many things. And, you know, we're very cognizant of our surroundings. And we learn how to survive so easily. That is the only reason that we've survived. That's the only reason that we're at the top of the food chain. We'd be like middle of the food chain, maybe. You know, eating mostly plant matter and some meat when we could, if not for our brains and the shit that we can do with it, you know? I mean, you look at apes. Yeah, apes, you know, are pretty similar to humans, but they still have a lot of natural defenses that we don't have. They can climb trees like hell, You know, you look at things like gorillas. They're big, they're strong, they got fangs, they got claws, they got fucking insane superhuman strength. You know, they have like more strength than the strongest man on Earth. You know, they have a lot of natural defenses, whereas humans, and it seems to get more and more every generation, are weaker and weaker. You know, we are comfortable. We're coddled. We need heating in our house and cooling in the summer, and like we need all these things to survive. We needed fire back in the day to warm us up. Otherwise, we would fucking die, depending on what climate we were in. Animals don't need that shit. You look at a bear or a gorilla or whatever, they got fur to keep them from, getting cold. They got, the natural things that we have, like sweating, to keep them cooled down. They sit in the shade. They know that. They take a bath in the water. Cooling down is a little easier than warming up. You look at polar bears, they have like 5 different layers of fucking fur. I think it's only 3. They got the exterior layer, a little bit in between, and then the really fine down fur underneath it all to keep them warm. The only place we grow like serious hair is the top of our head. What the fuck is that gonna do for you? You lose most of your heat through your hands and your feet. How you gonna keep that shit warm? Without a fire. But it is insane to me that humans have survived as long as they have, and not only survived but become the king, the queens, the top of the world. We are the top of the food chain. No animal in the entire world rivals us. We got all this technology and all that. But when you take it to just a person, no technology, none of that shit, and an animal of pretty much any kind in their natural habitat, we're fucked. We don't hold a candle to any animal in the world, other than the fact that because of our technology and because of our brains, we can live anywhere. We can live in Antarctica, the most extreme place on Earth to live. And hypothetically, we could live on other planets where there's not even oxygen to breathe, in little space stations and shit. We can live in space. Not a single other living being that we know of can live in space or get there on their own without a human's help. I mean, it's hard to see the situation that us humans have been placed in and not believe that there's some kind of higher power. It's hard, like a dog, if it was able to, probably would not believe in God or aliens or some higher power that put it there, because what the fuck does a dog really have that says so? It's very believable that a dog is just some random circumstance of life that ended up on a planet and has to hunt and work for food and whatever without a human's help. Whereas a human, we're put in such a odd situation in our, environment that it's really hard not to look around and be like, this is not coincidence. This shit didn't just happen. Why am I and my species, why were we able to make it to this point and live and, prosper the way we have? And we're the only species that is able to do it and has done it, and we're able to leave this planet and really just take control of the entire world. And hypothetically, the entire universe. We're the only species that's able to even come close to doing that. There's some species of monkeys out in the, jungles, wherever they are. I haven't done much research on it, but there's some species of monkeys that have supposedly entered the Stone Age, right? They are using stone tools and crafting these stone tools and using them to hunt, to do whatever they need to do with them. And that's pretty crazy, because why is it just now happening? Why is that after years and years and years and years of evolution, centuries, that these things have been around? Now they're just now starting to come into the Stone Age. And every day, they find more evidence that humanity is way older than we ever expected, than we ever, you know, thought possible. And it just gets older and older that we've been around, and we've survived and we've prospered. And it's just so crazy to me. It's so crazy to me. Like, we are weak. We are like literally, when it comes to natural defenses and living in the wild, we are the weakest things. The only reason that we're not is because of what's up here. That's it. It's so crazy to me. It's cool. It's really cool. I mean, I'm thankful for it. Thank God. And sometimes I like to think that I would have liked to have been born, you know, back in the day before all this technology and all this shit that we got going on. But man, what a lucky time to be alive. I mean it, like what a fucking great time to be alive. We are out here, we got, I would say, a good 70 to 80% of the population of the entire world has a microwave oven in their kitchen. A microwave oven. Maybe. Probably a little less. But I would say a good 70-80% of the population has electricity. Has running water. Has all these, beautiful fucking things that humanity has created that were never even thought possible back in even the 20s. Or maybe the 1800s. Like that's so fucking crazy to me. It's so crazy to me, and it's such a great time to be alive because it's only getting better. Only more and more of the world is getting these great things that just make life so much easier. And it really comes down to the question of, is it good for our species to have all these luxuries, to not have to work for our food, to not have to work for our water in this? Is it making us weaker as a species? Like I'm a skinny guy. I'm a light built frame of a guy. And there's people who are, morbidly obese. And it's becoming more and more common that people are skinny like me, where they don't have muscle, they don't have the same amount of things that would have helped them survive back in the day, or more and more like, really fat and not able to even like take care of themselves. And that's only becoming more and more common because we have all these luxuries. We don't have to work for anything. And it comes down to the question that is really controversial to answer and really hard to answer, which is Darwinism a good thing? Should people who can't survive? Is it better for our species if these people that couldn't survive don't survive? And obviously, the moral side of us says, fuck no. It's, people who can't survive should still survive. They're still humans. We should still take care of them and make sure they're well. And of course, I agree with that. I don't think we should be fucking slaughtering people that can't survive or just letting them die out if they can't survive. But what is it doing to our species, as a whole? Like, is it really a good thing to let people, it is a good thing to let people live. But, like, as a species, is it beneficial for those who can't survive to die? And is Darwinism real? A lot of people spectate that Darwinism is bullshit and that evolution really isn't a thing. And if it is, then it isn't dictated by the strongest surviving and the weaker dying. It's just a natural thing. And that the weaker dying is just like an excuse for, supremists to say that these people shouldn't live. Because there's supposedly, I think, somewhere out there, there's rumors that Darwin was like all these bad things and believed that people should die and made all this shit up so that, people he didn't like should die out and whatever. I'm not sure. I believe the Nazis definitely, I'm pretty sure the Nazis definitely quoted Darwinism quite a bit in their ideology. And that's the shitty thing, is if Darwinism is real, or if it's not, the shitty thing is people can take things like Darwinism and really, spin them to match their own ideology. And I don't think that's how it should be used. I don't think that's not beneficial in any way for us to, take, you know, to justify any awful acts with anything, because awful acts can't be justified. That's just how it is. But yeah, so it does bring into question though. There's plenty of reason and good conversation to be had. Philosophical questions to be asked about what it means for Darwinism as a human being. Should people? Is it beneficial for the weaker to die out and the stronger to live? And even if it is beneficial, if it's not beneficial, is it beneficial to our society as a whole right now that all the weaker are surviving? What are going to be the what's going to be the outcome of that? Is the gene pool just going to be ruined, and we're all going to be, disease is going to run rampant, and everyone's going to die because, the people who were prone to disease spread their genes, and now everyone's prone to disease, and now everyone's going to die. Who knows? Quite frankly, it's not anyone's job to speculate that, because there's no way to address that. There's no way to address that. What are you going to do? Go out to everyone who's, under this weight limit or over this weight limit and kill them, or anyone who's, prone to disease, fucking just kill them, get rid of them, don't let them reproduce, maybe, don't kill them, but don't let them reproduce. It's just taking basic human rights away would be the only way to even, address a problem like that. And that's something I could never agree with, ever. No matter what, denying people basic human rights is something I could never get behind, ever, for any reason. So, it's fun to sit here and speculate about and talk about, but it's not something that can ever be applied humanely in any way whatsoever. It can never be applied. So, it's fun to talk about, but there's not really a point to talking about it if you get what I'm saying. But I like to ask questions. I like to think about things and talk about things, but at the end of the day, it's just talk. Because you can't ever do anything about it. It's kind of why I gave up on politics, because you would sit there with some guys that either agreed or disagreed with you on politics, maybe some girls, and you'd talk about it. You'd argue about it. You'd have heated discussions about these politics and all this shit. And at the end of the day, at the end of the discussion, you and Bill down the street don't have a goddamn say in what happens. You just wasted all this time, possibly lost friends, or made people change their opinions about you for no fucking reason. Because, me and you have no fucking control over what happens up in the upper ranks of politics, We have no control over it. So what the fuck is the point of getting so invested in shit that you can't change, you have no control over? And quite frankly, people are just getting pissed at each other and not liking each other and, arguing and bickering over shit that at the end of the day, it might matter, but there's no point in, me and you arguing about it, because what's that going to do? What's that going to do? It's going to do fucking nothing. It's going to do nothing. It's just going to make you think I'm an asshole and I'm going to think you're an asshole because we have different views. Who gives a fuck? I got so fucking fed up with politics, especially around 2020. After COVID and everything else, I used to be really invested in politics. I used to love politics. I used to love sitting there and talking to people and arguing sometimes and just getting into it and, learning as much as I could about it. And then at the end of the day, I was just like, man, what a waste of my fucking time that was, especially when things just started to take a shit and everyone started losing. I was like, this sucks. We all, we're all fucked, and you just got to realize that it doesn't matter what fucking side you're on. And this applies to mostly America, but it doesn't matter what side you're on. Right, left, middle, fucking libertarian, fucking alt-right, whatever. It doesn't matter what side you're on, because I got a little secret for you guys. The government doesn't give a fuck about you. It doesn't give a fuck about your opinions. It doesn't give a fuck about your life or your livelihood or anything, no matter what side you're on. No matter what side you're on, it does not give a fuck, guys. No fucks were given by the government, ever. At the end of the day, as long as they're in control and they're in power, they will pretend to take any side that they see fit that benefits them. And they don't give a fuck what you think. And they will never give a fuck what you think. And as long as you're paying taxes and you're doing the shit they want you to do and staying in your little box, they don't care. They don't give a fuck. All right? They don't. They'll never care. And that's the truth. They'll never care about you. They don't care about you. And they're never going to. They're never going to fucking do anything that doesn't benefit them. If it benefits you, you bet your ass they did it because it benefits them too. And maybe you being happy and you being on their side benefits them. They don't give a fuck. And the same thing, like, even when it comes down to guns, man. Like, that's one of the heated debates I see amongst the anti-government community and the pro-government community is guns, Well, I need my AR-15 so that I can fight off the government. Let me tell you a little secret. I love AR-15s as much as the next guy. I love my guns. I don't think guns should be taken away. I believe in the Second Amendment. However, they don't care about your AR-15. They don't care about your short-barreled rifle. They don't care. Because guess what? While you're sitting over here arguing about your AR-15s, they're sitting over here with thousands of guys with M60s and tanks and drones and fucking A-10 Warthogs and thermal heat imagery and everything else. And if it ever came down to it, your AR-15 would do nothing. It would do nothing. You would be shot. You would be bombed. You would be fucking napalm striked, gassed out. It doesn't matter because the rules of war don't apply when it's a civil war and the rest of the world can't do shit to defend our civilians against the world's strongest military. All right? They don't care. If at the end of the day, you don't have an AR-15 or a handgun or any other guns, it just makes it easier. It makes it easier on them. And when the entire population thinks that we don't need guns, it makes it even easier for them to take them. Now they don't have to spend the money on sending in drones and helicopters and whatever to fight you because they can go door to door, and if they don't like you, you'll just disappear one day. They won't come up and shoot you in your house. You'll just be walking to work or driving to work or riding your electric bike because there's no gas anymore to work. And one day a black van will pull up, scoop you up, and you will never be heard from again. Ever. Because the government doesn't give a fuck about you. The only thing the government needs any of us for is to pay taxes and shut the fuck up. And of course, work. Because a country can't make money if you're not working. Now, I don't know how many terms of service I just broke on Twitch saying all that. Sounded like a conspiracy theorist. But it's the truth. The government doesn't give a fuck about you. It doesn't give a fuck about your AR-15s or anything else you have. It doesn't care. And so that's why I think the politics is just fucking stupid. Because you and Susie Lee down the street are going to argue for 30 hours. No, okay. For 8 hours, okay, about whether, the government should allow abortions or whether, I should be able to keep my AR-15 and, Susie Lee's like, well, your AR-15 is dangerous and it's an assault rifle and your 40-round magazines are, too much. Why do you need that? It's just a killing machine. You don't need that for hunting. And you're going to be like, well, if the government ever comes and takes my guns, I'm going to shoot them with it and this and that. And guess what? At the end of the day, No one cares. The government's not going to not allow abortion or allow abortion, depending on what you think, because they don't care. They've already proved that the voting is bullshit. Votes don't get counted. They don't give a fuck. They vote whoever the fuck they want into. And that can be true for Trump or for Biden. Either way, whatever side you take, the government doesn't count your votes. The voting doesn't fucking matter. They don't care what any of us have to say. So at the end of the day, you can lose friends, divide the population even more over arguing over stupid things. And at the end of the day, the government's still going to do whatever the fuck they want to do. And they're going to put on this puppet show for you to make you think that your politicians are doing your part and fighting for you. But they don't. They don't care. It's whoever pays them more is whoever wins. And at the end of the day, the government still controls every single one of us in one way or another. Whether or not you have your guns, and whether or not you're able to abort your fucking baby, it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter, because at the end of the day, the government still controls it. The government still controls every aspect of it. They don't care. They don't care if you have your AR-15s. They don't care if you're aborting your fucking kids. They don't care if women have rights or if men have rights or if black people have rights or if Latinas have rights or if there are people flooding in over the border. They don't give a fuck. And they really don't give a fuck about your opinion on it, because it's just an opinion. And at the end of the day, you can't do fucking shit about it. So that's why I stopped subscribing to politics. Because politics are fucking stupid. You're not going to change anything. You're just going to make everyone think you're an asshole, one way or the other, no matter what side you're on. If you're pushing your agenda down someone else's throat, you're an asshole. You're an asshole, and you need to find other hobbies. And yeah, it affects us. It's not like we shouldn't care. We should care. However, the government doesn't. The government doesn't care if we care. It's going to do whatever it wants either way. So I don't think losing friends over it is the solution. That's just my humble 20-year-old opinion. I don't know, I still care what happens. I still care about my country. I'm a patriotic man. But I just don't think that we can do a goddamn thing about it. So I don't think there's any point in dividing the country anymore when all that does is benefit them. I think, whether it's, a revolution or fucking this or that or the other, people need to understand, whether you're right, left, middle, or whatever, it's not right versus left. It's right wing and left wing for a reason. An eagle needs two wings to fly. And if those two wings aren't working together towards the same goal, you don't fly. People need to understand that it's not us versus us. It is us, the whole population, right, left, middle, Mexican, black, Hispanic, white. I said Mexican twice. Girls, guys, whatever. They want us divided. They want us to be separated and to bicker amongst each other so they can do whatever the fuck they want. And we can't do a goddamn thing about it because we're too busy arguing with each other. What people need to understand is it's not us versus us, it's us versus them. It is the people versus their government, no matter what. No matter what. Whether they look like they're doing everything right or whatever, it is us versus them. And if we sit here and pretend like arguing amongst each other is going to solve anything, just you're doing exactly what they want you to do. You think there'd be all this fucking criticism of all these different right-wing and left-wing politics and all this if they didn't want you to see it? They want you to see it. They want you to bicker. They want you to fight. And what has that solved? Ever. Nothing. We are still utterly fucked. And no one seems to fucking grasp that. And I just can't fucking understand it. I can't understand how people can be so caught up in bullshit. I don't know. That's my personal opinion. I don't fall into right. I don't fall into left. I don't even fall into middle. I just fall into get your head out of your ass. You know? We're all fucking people. We're all fucking fucked. We're all equally fucked. And once we realize we're all equally fucked, the world will be a lot better. You know? And we can get a lot more shit done when we realize we're all equally fucked, so we might as well stick together. You know? Yep. It's a wonderful world out there. We got into politics even though I didn't want to. This fucking pipe is just not staying lit. Son of a bitch. Yeah. You know, I don't pretend to be smart, wise, or any of that. Because I'm not. I'm just here, just like everyone else. But I think I have a decent amount of common sense. A decent, you know. Which, I mean, when compared to some other people. I'm not saying I'm better, but I think sometimes I make better decisions. You know? It is what it is. Well, I don't know. We've gone on for what, 3-4 hours now? Probably just random about politics for a good while. Let's find out. What do you guys think? Let's see. We go to Stream Manager. We got no viewers, I'm sure. We got 3 hours. 3 hours now. No viewers, just me. Yeah. I didn't expect anything, you know. It is what it is. But, whatever. Oh, I say tomorrow we'll probably be doing Wednesday. It's Wednesday today. God, is it fucking Wednesday, dude? Yeah. So I guess tomorrow's Terraria stream. So we'll do a Terraria stream tomorrow with Theo. Probably pretty early. And then I got a bunch of shit to take care of. Tomorrow's gonna be a long day for sure. Trying to figure out that fucking bullshit with the crash. So, all right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Certainly appreciate it. You guys are legendary. I appreciate every bit of it. If you're watching this on YouTube and made it this far, that's pretty fucking impressive. I appreciate it, my guy. Maybe you like me and you like watching longer videos. That's pretty cool too. Definitely make a lot of those. And maybe you're just listening to this in the background, not really paying attention. That's cool too. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe so I know I'm actually doing something right, because YouTube's got me stumped. Twitch I'm doing alright, but man, YouTube, man, I cannot fucking wrap my mind around it. But anyways, oh my Josh. You guys take it easy, and I will see you in the next stream. Oh, we got 2 viewers right as I leave. And there he goes. Bye. Anyways, you guys take it easy. I'll see you in the next stream. Catch you on the flip side. Peace.